Hello, everybody, and welcome to the last and final game of the GLSEN with Pride charity stream, where we will be playing Flying Circus, GM'd by Pablo. For those of you who don't know, GLSEN is a charity who strive to create safe and inclusive school and school systems for LGBTQIA plus youth, so they can learn and grow in a school environment free from bullying and harassment. We do have a couple incentives for today, which I'm going to put exclamation point incentives in chat. Just the quick version is you have Gremlin's Bargain and Devil's Bargain, basically. And I'm going to let Pablo explain that a little bit more because I don't know this system, and he'll be able to do a much better job than I will. I am Mare, and I just want to thank everyone who stopped out today and retweeted and shared links and donated for raising money for such a good cause. And we are in the final stretch today. I will be starting after we get started. There will be a giveaway for a $25 gift card to Irene Co. Studios. But in the meantime, let's go around, have everyone say hi, the quick version, and we'll start with Pablo.
Hey, howdy. I'm very nervous. This is a delight. Thank you for being here. There's an open mic happening simultaneously to this right outside. Please let me know if the sound is overwhelming and you cannot hear the story. I will try to put the gain as low as I can and continue to be comprehensible. We're playing Flying Circus. To explain the incentives, well, to explain the incentives, you gotta explain the game. The game is that you're irresponsibly gay mercenaries in the post-apocalypse, and you are being tasked with doing mercenary work because travel is impossible without being on an airplane. The two incentives are essentially two different calibers of trade-off. The Devil's Bargain and Gremlin's Bargain consists of taking a soft move or hard move to get a mechanical bonus to the game. Soft move means someone is pulling a gun on you. Hard move means someone is shooting you, or something with that more or less vibe. Yeah, let's go around and talk about as briefly as you want about who you are and what you do. I'm Pablo. I'm pretty anxious. I do a bunch of bilingual poetry stuff and tabletop stuff, and I'm here. Let's go down this list. Logan, why don't you tell us about who you are?
Sure. Hi, I'm Logan, he, him pronouns. I'm Australian. That's why my voice sounds like this. And I'm a tabletop designer, creator. I run, write, play lots of tabletop games just all the time at every and any given opportunity. So that's me. Who's next?
Very good. Evie, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Evie. I have things that I kind of sort of do. Now I'm on another stream. I'll plug it better at the end. And I really enjoy tabletop games because of the collaborative storytelling aspect. It is a great deal of fun to me. Also, can you guys hear this dog from the neighbor through my mic? No? Okay, cool.
Excellent. Buns, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm a Buns. And normally when I'm not just doing random rants about my life on Twitter, you can find me at Magpie Games, GMing awesome games like Masks and Urban Shadows. That is really all I do. I'm boring.
Akemi, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Akemi. She, they. Today I'll be playing Sora, they, them. You can find me in the Twitterverse. I also am on Utopia's Archon tiebreaker game.
Excellent. And last but absolutely not least, Erika.
Hi, I'm Erika, she, her, and I make games sometimes.
Made a few games here and there. May or may not be relevant to the one we're playing.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm extremely nervous and excited to be running this game that you wrote. Okay, before we begin the story, How loud is the band that is playing in the background for me? How much of that is coming through?
On my end, I will let you know it does not sound disruptive.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. I've turned down the gain considerably. I can fuss with it more, but let's get started with this story because it's going to go off the rails pretty dramatically. In the midst of summer, the mountain town of Icegarem is a secluded, snowy place beginning its month-long thaw. Flying into town, two things are going to stand out immediately. Number one, there is a theater, the ruins of an old Gotha Empire pre-war theater in contrast with the local Fisher architecture. And number two, the train station for a skyline, that rare attempt at mass transit in a world where ground travel is near impossible. Welcome to the world of Flying Circus, a game where 3 to 5 stupid young post-apocalyptic mercenaries risk their lives on motorized kites. Word has come through that this town needed your help. And so, as you set down on this icy Fisher village, let's introduce our characters. Let's start with, let's go in reverse order. So, Erika, why don't you tell us what we see when we see Ding?
Right. So you don't see a lot is basically the first impression that you get, because my character is just swathed in tarps and blankets and hoods and, you know, what do you call those? Like basically just layer upon layer of different insulated fabrics. And so they kind of like just a bell of fabric, and with a old style gas mask in the center, two almost opaque eye lenses, and a big filter hose that disappears under one of the layers. So yeah, they are a survivor.
Delightful, delightful. What do we see, Akemi, for Sora?
You probably see the top of Sora's head sticking out over a book, because that is how they normally wander around. Like, most of their time is spent with their nose in a book, so you don't ever see much of their face because, again, reading. But when you do see the face, it's on the young side, dark, medium length hair, has a very well dressed like suit and tie and vest, but also layers that with standard flying gear like heavy jacket and cap, and generally is impeccably dressed, but always has a pen available.
I love it. So we see the nerd of this particular mercenary company. Delightful, a treasure. Buns, tell us about Sparilla.
I'm going to be playing Sparilla, and when you see Sparilla, they are they would be considered the maiden. I'm going to be playing the witch playbook. They have, it's very similar to what you kind of see in front of you right now. They do have glasses in lieu of goggles, and their hair is all these different colors of like random things that they have found around the ground that they didn't put in their hair, like taking little pieces of them wherever they go. And what they're wearing is very much so kind of, it looks like it's supposed to be that way, but it's totally that they ripped a shirt that was too small, and that's why it's hanging off their shoulders. But other than that, then you have the flight pants, and they're always looking at something else. You can never quite tell what they're focused on, but they're always kind of looking around.
Very, very good. Next up, Evie, tell us about Tara.
So Tara is wearing relatively simple clothing, but it is incredibly brightly colored. And she has a plethora of accessories on her. She has medium skin tone with her hair pulled back into a very long braid, and she's got relatively loose fitted kind of outfit on, because attached in straps around it are a wingsuit that is currently in its down state, where these
Excellent.
great eagle feathers sort of make a cape hanging off the backside of her outfit. And she struts down the road with a sword on her hip and a pet bird perched on her shoulder that she's currently kind of making a little chittering sounds at, and it's replying in broken little bits of English phrasing, and she's just kind of acting as if she owns this place already.
Excellent. Little bird flutters over, just sort of like perches on your shoulder, and is just kind of like, graham crackers.
I give it a peanut.
And last, certainly not least, tell us about Hans.
Cool. So Hans flies a big plane and disembarks with his two husbands, who they all kind of help each other jumping out. He's always like got a bit of dirt somewhere. Today it's on his face, and it has been there the whole plane ride over, but only because the husbands are still arguing about whose turn it is to wipe it off gently. And they haven't come to an agreement yet. So it's still there. And he's just wearing kind of very plain clothing, just, stuff that gets the job done, and very solid pair of boots. If anything needs stomping, ground needs testing, you can trust Hans's sturdy boots.
Well, that was a delight. You sat down at, so you've sat down on the outskirts of this town. There's a hangar and, repair bay, just like every single town in this universe. And I have exposition that I forgot about. Several locals are there with traditional garb. Several of them are wearing older particular vestments. There's current fashion. There's common and less common features amongst the fishers. You get the cute Innsmouth look. You get the otherworldly splendor. And you get individuals whose, features that would mark them as fishers are perhaps a little less pronounced. They've all watched you land, and the woman who steps forward to greet you has the severe countenance of a religious elder. She's got the glowing tattoos spiraling across her body. Her eyes are bright and urgent, yet uncontrollably relaxed. And she says, "Oh, I'm glad someone else has arrived. Welcome to our humble abode. I am Margund. Have you had breakfast yet?"
No.
Yes, of course. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
And she goes, "Well, for those of you who have had breakfast and those of you who haven't, come, and just turns around and begins beckoning you towards the theater in the center of town. And as she begins walking with you, you can see that the decorations inside are bright. Many of them are glowing and fluorescent. You see fish hooks, you see old rooms, and these are in juxtaposed contrast of the old pre-war empire's design and the architecture all around. Center stage, there are several blankets and bowls of breads and flavorful fish. Many more than the number of people who are in your party currently are just arrayed in a circle. And she just sits down and she just begins dunking some some bread with some of the tasty fish, and is just sort of takes a bite and begins saying, "So, tell me about yourselves. I'm sure you have plenty of time to discuss before embarking on your mission."
That wasn't my impression.
And she goes, "Well, they can't all be winners. All right, so the Goth Empire took this place and made it theirs when I was a young girl, and they cared deeply about the order they would exact on the world in front of them. And then they destroyed each other in the Great War. It's the history of this town. And we get to pick and choose which parts to make our own, though. And, well, last time we went without explaining a little bit about who we are. I'm afraid there might have been a little bit of a mix-up with the mercenary crew that went out. And so I'm interested. I want to know. I want to sit with you and eat with you. What is important to you to keep?" in the parts of the world that you've been given. What do you want to pick and choose?
So this is going to be part of the whole agreement, negotiation, contract deal.
You see, forgive me, I'm not a very unbiased, job giver at this particular juncture. It's just not too long ago, we had some people come in and we negotiated a contract. And then they said, fuck yeah, bros, it's going to be a ghost train heist. And they flew off, and I think they may have already been killed. So I just want to make sure we're sort of on the same page about what's moving next.
Is it so you won't have to call someone immediately after we leave to replace us? Or is it to give us a better warning than the... My familiar jumps in my face. It is a black dog with blue eyes.
Buns, you're coming out a little faint on my end. I don't know if everyone else was able to hear them.
Sorry, there's a dog in front of my mouth.
Well, I mean, now in particular, it's sort of an insurmountable obstacle.
Is it so that you don't have to immediately replace us when we leave, or is it so you can give us a better warning than the last group?
Well, I mean, when I say they're probably dead, I mean, like, they were severely unprepared for the task in front of them. But if they were to succeed in the manner that I think they want to succeed, it will be sort of shooting some things that are very important to us. And what I'm saying is this is perhaps a little bit more. Did you get the message that I sent out to the neighboring towns? It might be a little bit more complicated than just a quick retrieval mission.
Okay.
So my grandnephew disappeared, and it would take a very long time to explain, I think, the full length and breadth of his life. He was an actor in this place that the Gotha set up. And, well, I've gone off the rails from my own narration, and I'm trying to think of what is the most concise way of moving forward. I apologize.
During this time, Sora has been like going through and like trying to identify what the various types of fish are before taking a bit of each.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so
then, like spouting random fish facts, like, oh, that's a silver herring. It's known for this and found in this area of the world, and oh, this is it. And no one's. I don't know if anyone's actually listening to them, but that is what they were doing.
Yeah, Tara will follow behind Sora and basically like wait with a bit of patience, a little bit, for Sora to go through their whole spiel, and then ask at the end every single time, but does it taste good? And then once Sora renders a verdict on whether or not it is tasty, Tara will partake.
Excellent. Okay, so I think what she says to that, to all of this, as you're all eating, and she goes, so we follow the old ones here, and the old ones take care of us in life. They take care of us in afterlife, right?
Old ones.
They are those who watch us beyond. Not a great perception of this particular bit of space time. They've got more important things to focus on. And
so not just old people.
No, not just me. And she goes, what is important to us here is gratitude, our thanks to the old ones. And while we're here and thereafter, and when we're gone, there is a thing in the depth of the seas that takes on everything that we were. It's who we are, and it's how we live on. And the long and short of it is that when we pass on, the Leviathan beneath the worlds occasionally might fixate on the wrong thing if we are fixating on the wrong thing. If we are not being humble, gracious, if we are being proud and selfish and disdainful or whatever, something breaks off and rises from the depths, and it fixates on whatever we were fixating on in life. And there was a fisher actor who disappeared at sea. My nephew. And it seems that he was fixated on the SkyTrain that, before the war, brought the Empire into our homeland for so long. And so, an unsettled otherworldly spirit lives in the Skyrail now, and I was hoping to send someone to go calm him down enough that I could speak to him. I was once a very good pilot, but it's just, my bones are going to rattle a little bit too much for this particular era in aviation history. And, well, you are the second circus to come in today, and before I could get to any of the important parts of the story, there was one with a pointy hat and a tank top, and he really fixated on the idea of ghost train heist, and just the troop departed.
I mean, to be fair, it does sound like a ghost train heist.
Just a little bit, but you don't want us to rob anything. You just want us to diffuse.
Yes, I would like you to have a conversation, negotiate, reach a common understanding where he would be calm enough to return back to us. This is my Hartman. He was full of life, and I lament that his passing would be such a difficult occasion. In any case, the individuals who came beforehand, they were I believe they said Red Talon, and all of you know that this particular flying circus, bunch of pirates. Bad enough to shoot down their planes on sight. Maybe not necessarily shoot them in the head on sight, but shoot down their planes on sight. These are particularly scummy individuals.
A Talon. Huh?
And she goes, I do not read the newspaper anymore. Is there something I should know?
May not have been the best people to make a decision with, but we're not here to judge you for your past mistakes. We're here to help you fix them. So let's test your negotiation skills. How is this gonna work? And they finally take a bite of food when they do that. They're like, we're just gonna have to be better than them. I'm already made up enough.
So she
Let the
goes,
competition begin.
Right. They look over at Ding though and you have to eat your food.
Bones, you're pretty quiet.
Let me turn up my volume on my microphone. I apologize.
Get those gains. Get those gains.
Oh no.
I can hear Biff now.
Yeah, right? Are we sure that the Red Talons have left, or are they hiding in the background?
But I was saying that they look over to Ding and they're like, you have to eat your food. They push a plate closer to them.
Just the image of the survivor standing there, mask on, all the stuff, just holding a plate,
Just look, you can turn around if you. Wait, I know how to use this now. They cover your face with a fan. You know what
you see the mask briefly on the top of their head and hear munching noises.
They're like, okay, so what else? Their other hand is putting food in their own mouth, but this one's holding it over their face.
So good.
And she goes, so the important part, the part that I was not able to communicate with your competitors, I would say, is this particular little bit of Old One's eldritch guardianship over this wandering spirit. You're only really going to be able to combat it by being vulnerable. It will feed off your outrage, your anger. And if you're going to be wind on its sails, you can take the wind out of its sails by leaving yourself open. But anyway, you're going to have to land on the SkyTrain first. Let's not put the cart before the horse. There's no horses in Sora.
Horse.
Let's not put the wind before the clouds. It's fine.
Let's not put the wind before the clouds.
Okay, do you have a map, some type of representation? So that
It's a straight line. It's a sky train. There's a straight. I can tell you which. It's upstream.
It's upstream. It still works because jet stream, but also...
Anyway, as you may imagine, we don't have large amounts of money. We could definitely cover the costs of any repairs you may have incurred. In terms of your planes, I understand airplanes are extremely expensive, but every town in this fucking universe is ready to repair airplanes. Lore drop.
Like Sparilla perks up and goes, "You'll fix the planes if we mess them up?"
She goes, "Of course. And moreover, if there is something that you desire that we would be able to produce, I'm sure we could have it arranged. I'm sure you could take a week off from whatever your adventurous lives seem, just enjoy the thaw of summer." And she just grins at all of you widely.
That's not creepy. They're like looking around and everybody's sort of trying to read their faces on like where their heads at right now. That's what do you guys?
So when the lovely lady here said that we have to make ourselves vulnerable and not go in with anger or whatever, Tara basically stopped mid-bite, put her food back down, scooched away from the table, and has this scowl of concern on her face. Am I going to be allowed to be there?
What do you mean? Are you going to be allowed to? Of course, we need you. I love that they're just making these faces across the table each other,
like, but really,
you
this might be asking too much.
You cannot be mad for like 5 minutes, right? Right?
Deep thought. Have I ever been mad for not 5 minutes?
You haven't been mad for the past 5 minutes, have you?
A little bit.
That's my secret. I'm always mad.
You're
low
right.
key, low key, a little angry. It's just fish, but you know, it's fine.
Okay. What's the lowest anger level you got? Like at this point, they've made like a little stick figure, like Stitch style, and like have filled it. Where's your anger level at on normal basis these days?
Points at like 6. Yeah, I'm calm.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. You are the best lookout person we have. Like maybe you shouldn't go inside, but you still gotta go.
All right. We'll deal with it when we get there, I guess.
Isn't that always what we do?
Yeah, basically. But you know, we don't get this much warning ahead of time usually, so.
Well, I didn't have breakfast.
Fine.
Very good. All right. Before we cut to taking off, is there anything else anyone wants out of the scene?
I think my husband's finally decided whose turn it is, and the dirt is removed from my face.
Oh my god.
Very good.
This is the A plot now. All this fucking ghost train heist shit is the B plot.
But so there's dirt removed, but now there's a crumb in the beard, and they're fighting over the crumb in the beard now. You just did the dirt, no, but I have it. The beard is closer to
This
the
is
mouth.
so
You were closer to the
powerful.
mouth last time.
I hope someone has written a full fanfic by the end of this session.
I want fan art. I want enamels. I want ship names in the merch.
All right. So with that, I think we're going to hard cut to everyone getting ready to take off. And for those of you who have not played this game before, I'm going to introduce to you the most important part of the game, which is context switch on. There's going to be a mechanic who is standing in front of your airplane while you're in the cockpit and is going to be turning the propellers and just going for what I can only imagine is an unbearable amount of time that's not going to be played out in the whole narrative. But as part of your turning on airplanes, the mechanic is going to say, contact, and you're going to say, switch on, and then you all are going to make airplane noises at the exact same time. So you have no excuses not to do it. If you do not make airplane noises, your plane cannot take off. It's an important part of the game mechanics. And it is maybe the peak of the game. At least it is in my heart.
Okay.
So we're going to get into it. And then I will ask you all to describe some things that are on your airplane. So everyone is in their airplanes. There is a cute shark person holding onto the propellers of everyone's individual planes. And as they get ready to spin your propellers, they go, contact!
Switch
on.
on. I don't know what
That's
plane
good.
sound.
We did it.
I don't know what planes sound like.
We fixed.
I don't know either. I just made a burring sound.
We
They're
fixed.
like they sound like cars, but with more vroom.
There's an entire
Okay,
page
gotcha.
of the rules dedicated to this question.
Most important page of the rulebook.
All right. Before we get into airplane mechanics, we're going to go around and everyone's going to tell me one thing that you have painted on your airplane, because queer people have painted things on their airplanes. What's a thing that Hans has on their airplane?
So Hans has a big plane. It is pink and it has blue elephants, which are each holding each other's tails in their trunks. And it has white highlights, so it's the trans flag colors.
Hell yeah. Sarah.
Oh, that's me. I'm so sorry. I'm not used to this name yet. Yeah, so there is a in cursive, the word scream written alongside either side of the cockpit. That is the name of the plane, is scream. And on the front, there is a honey badger that is attacking a cloud. And the honey badger is in psychedelic pink and orange colors for lesbian flag, and has the white stripe down the top of it still as the divider line for it. And that is what is coasting around up in the sky now. She has very weird engines that like take divots out of her wings, so her stuff is on the nose of her plane instead.
Sparilla, what's something that's painted on your plane?
Something that I have painted on my plane, which it is a little crocodile that we said was an alligator. It was an alligator that's like mid-death roll, but like on its stomach is like these lines of flowers that are pink, yellow, and blue for the pansexual flag. And it doesn't have any words or anything on it, but it has the dorkiest like grin, like a dog grin, like its tongue is flapped out, like it's just on its back.
Oh yeah.
It's called the Cayman.
Excellent. Akemi's airplane is wrong because you picked the student playbook. Your airplane is backwards and strange and just seems like it should not be working in an aerodynamic manner, and it does have a laser beam on it. Akemi, what is painted on your plane?
Sora's plane has a penguin on it wearing like the standard aviator outfit with little goggles and but it's on its stomach and it looks like it's reading a book. So it's kind of like Superman style penguin reading a book, and instead of the normal white silk scarf, the penguin scarf is the flag scarf.
Excellent. Love that a lot. And painted on Ding's extremely metal plane.
There is only one thing painted on this plane, which is the most beautiful thing they've ever seen, which was the chocolate chip cookie.
Yes. Now do
It
you
is
see
rendered
why I
exquisitely.
must protect them with my life?
Unfortunately, the art is ruined by the fact that the skin of the plane is corrugated, so you have to look at it at exactly the right angle, and it's a chocolate chip cookie. Otherwise, it just looks like a stain on the side.
It's like a weird 3D image.
Yeah,
like those cards where when you
it's a magic
rotate
eye.
them
It's a
around.
magic
Yeah.
eye cookie.
Yes.
What I like to
Right.
think is that in this version of Himmelgard, in this version of the universe, chocolate chip cookies are extremely common, but Ding has only been to one town that made them. That's incredible. And
The
so
moment we
everyone
all
takes
realized it was
off.
a cookie.
Shoot, I should have made it one of those vanilla crescents. No.
There's like a half-drawn vanilla crescent on the other side.
I've heard
Work in
rumors of
progress.
these delicious cookies.
So if I remember correctly, the lowest speed in the party is 9. So set your speed to 9.
That was actually inaccurate. I made a mistake. Mine's actually 15, so the lowest is 14.
The lowest is 14. All right.
That's
So
me. I'm flying a metal plane. It's a brick.
Tanking. Okay, good to know. Set it to set your speed to 14. If you have a non-editable thing, don't worry. Open a text document, write it on a notepad, like whatever. And as well, let's decide your altitude. So the altitude bands, the whole like single digit and double digit numbers there, they are, and I hope I am not saying this incorrectly when I am GMing for the fucking creator, 100 meters. Is that right? Cool. So I would say that we're just gonna keep it simple and just say all the altitude numbers are above whatever is currently ground level. So if it's mountainy, whatever, we're not gonna sweat it. You know what I mean? The SkyTrain is at altitude 4. You may decide for yourselves what about altitude you want to be at. I don't know if anyone has any particular thoughts for where they want to be.
Okay, so I have a question about the layout and what we're doing. So we're starting in the Fisher Town, and that's where one end of the SkyTrain is anchored, and then we have to follow it a great distance to the other end?
That's a good question. I realize I didn't describe the image I had. The SkyTrain goes all the way into the mainlands very, very far off, and it sort of U-turns here. Like this town is a stop on the SkyTrain. And they just said, the SkyTrain is currently in that direction, and then pointed.
Okay. And it is at all points 4 altitude above the ground level. And the ground level is more or less level. There isn't like a giant mountain suddenly that we're encountering.
Yeah, we're not going to make this super crunchy this time.
Okay.
And so you run risk of very few dice being rolled here. But I'm going to ask you to roll Air Patrol. I guess to put it more broadly, do people want to start considerably higher up above the train's line, above the rail, or do you want to be hanging out a little closer to it? Are people going to be spread out at different altitudes?
I know that Sparilla is going to want a higher vantage point. I'm not sure how high other people want to go, but if it's at a 4, they at least want to be like a little bit higher on it so they can see if anything's coming, because they're like looking out while everybody else lands down. They're going to be the last to land, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think it would probably be good to split into 2 groups, have somebody going relatively low and have top cover, though by relatively low I mean no lower than 600, because we really don't want to hit the ground, and I don't know how bad the spinning rules are.
We're using
1.3
edition, so
we want at least altitude 6.
Okay.
Cool.
I think
that's what my book says.
For altitude 6.
Okay. I did say no thoughts head empty. I did say the train's rail was at altitude 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's gonna be super fun. Okay.
Yeah, we can dive to altitude and probably not explode. Does anyone have like no overspeed or strain? Okay, we'll be fine.
I think that maybe how's this sound for 2 people kind of at altitude 6, 2 people at altitude 10, and I'll stay at altitude 8 because I've got a pretty zippy plane, so I can very quickly respond to things in either location.
I'll take one of the lower ones because my plane is a concrete brick, and
our tanks,
it can take damage. So if there's like guns on the train, if there's somebody watching the train, I can get shot like 4 times before I have to start worrying about it.
Nice.
I think that means Sparilla and Sora are going to be up high then, because Hans is the other tank.
Excellent. And so I think that you are you're preparing yourself to follow along the train's rail here, and it's pretty unambiguous. That's one of the really nice qualities of doing a ghost train heist. You know along what lines you are going to find your target, but only one of you is going to roll air patrol. Who wants to make that roll?
This is plus calm.
I think this is plus calm.
Oh, I have a 2 calm. I thought this was going to be plus keen.
Air patrol is plus calm. You
Okay, I
are
have a
leading
2.
when you lead the squadron on a search.
What does anybody else have?
Anyone got anything higher than plus 2 calm?
I have a 2.
But you got your partners, so that gives you a bonus. No, it gives a bonus to eyeball.
Yeah, it's bonus to eyeball.
Okay.
awesome.
Now that dice
Plus
are cool. Now that dice are about to be rolled, there have been some incentives made. So it didn't really make sense to do hard moves leading up to this point. I can kind of finagle them at this point. So now that we are here, there are two devil's bargains that have been made. So if you so choose to have a probably pretty bad thing on the scale of getting shot at, thing happen to you, you can take a hold, which just means at some point you choose to spend the hold, and then you'll be rolling with advantage. So instead of just rolling 2d10, you'll roll 3d10, and then you'll drop the lowest die. So sounds like there's several people with tied for highest calm. Who wants to make the roll? And if anyone wants to make the bargain, there's 2 of them on the table.
Happy for you to take it, Evie.
Sorry?
I'm happy for
I
Evie
mean-
to take the roll.
Okay, I'm not going to take the bargain though. Like, very first seems bad at the gate. So I will roll my 2d10. All right. I rolled 12. So it's a partial.
Okay. So on a partial, you find something else. I didn't account for this possibility. I think
I'm sorry.
that what you find is, I think the way we're going to do this is kind of cinematically, actually. I think that you're extremely focused on the train. You're focused on the rail. You want to see that moment where there's a black dot in the distance and you spotted the train, or you spotted the rival circus that's racing you towards it. And then there's a shadow over you. Oh, that's weird. And then you look up and there is a bird of prey.
Ooh.
And then I think we just see a montage of the entire party just sort of like rolling around into formation, just being like, there's a grand raptor chasing after Tara.
I think that rather than the shadow, maybe what happens is, so Pebble, the bird, he's a mina bird, and he kind of nestles down in the like crook of the seat and the side of my hip when I'm flying, and Pebble notices it and like starts cursing. And that's how I know something's wrong.
Yeah, but he's cursing in like old Gothic, and it's just sort of like it's stuff you would read in an ancient tome. Those are the bad words
Things
that are
like
being uttered.
things like the goat shat on your mother's head.
Yeah, so you're getting
There's
some
a hamster. Your father
Yes,
smelled
thank
the
you.
berries.
Yeah. you get some Shakespearean cussing happening, and you're not, all of your communication is happening by sign language, but like you know when your bird is dropping the old cusses. So you can hear it in your mind even over the roar of the engine.
Oh, no,
And I'm not gonna
he's loud.
we're not gonna do whole scenes about it, but just like there's this moment where like, are we using magic? Are we using tracers to try and spook this thing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And if anyone wants to hand wave how they solved this problem of getting ambushed by a bird of prey. Like sorry, just to be clear, I realize that I've been playing this game a lot. A giant eagle, a very large bird, plane-sized bird,
Pellets are tasty.
So does anyone want to give a little bit of narration for how you got out of this?
You said that we were able to like just like do things, kind of right. So one of the moves that I took was called As the Crow Flies. Would it be possible for me to make the bird's feathers like more buoyant than it's used to, so that it is just like, I just want it away? So like everything, so it's actually, you know, the feathers that make it fly give it more thrust, so it keeps flapping to try to get down to us, but it's just making itself go higher.
So I mean, like,
is that a thing you can do?
Absolutely, you're able to do magic. You're able to do magic that sort of it helps the bird be a little too buoyant.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of like rapidly approaching a part of the atmosphere that it was not anticipating. And so we see Sparilla casts their spell, and then we see this bird is just like dive bombing towards Terra, and then the dive slows and slows and slows, and then it just magnetically repels up away from Terra's plane. And then just starts spinning around in the sky, Team Rocket style, until it disappears in the distance.
Perfect.
There's an after the credits scene of this movie that is just the bird in orbit, like beeping occasionally like Sputnik.
Yes. Oh god.
Just
All right.
Oh my god. Okay, Hans, do you want to take the next one since I fucked up?
Yeah. So the way Air Patrol works is every time that it is rolled, you get a flat +1 bonus to it, and they all stack. So it just becomes easier to do over time.
Awesome. Cool. So it's plus com, and I get another +1 from Tara's roll. Okay. +3 total. It's a 13.
13?
13.
All right. So for this one, you find something unprecedented, and I think, I think it would be funny if you just encountered a different adventuring party, and then there was just a total mix-up where you thought these were the pirates, and then one of you spots their rondel and is like, no, they don't have the red talon symbol on them. This is just an unrelated group of adventurers, and they were like, we're trying to find the Grail. What the fuck, you guys?
I'm on somebody's plane, and everybody's signing to me, stop, don't stab them. And I'm like, what?
It's the scene from Shaun of the Dead where they encounter the doppelgang. Just the identical planes in slightly different colors and like
blue.
All the same playbooks.
I just want to hear the slow power down of the laser gun on Sora's plane.
There's like a different witch that is like waving a wand at Sparilla and is just like, I don't know if I want this. I don't want this experience. This isn't the experience I want for today. And they were like, did you see that weird bird back there? Who did that? Who's responsible for this?
It was Ursula, my familiar.
They're on the sign that they're on an adventure looking for an escaped pet giant eagle. Have you seen it?
I've definitely run that mission before. So let's go to the next one. So Akemi, you're the other one with a +2, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it's anyone's grab next time. But you get a +2, flat +2 to your roll for Air Patrol. Roll plus calm.
All right. Let's see. 9, 3, 2. I can do math. 14.
Okay,
we
so
keep increasing by 1 each time.
14. Wait, so it's 14 plus your calm. Sorry, it's whatever's on your die +4 because it's the +2 from your calm, +2 from the bonus. So
okay, so it's let's see, 12 on the die.
2 for calm.
+2. 14.
And then +2.
+2.
For our rolls.
16.
16.
We did math. We
Okay.
did math.
How many queers does it take to roll dice?
But we don't. We can't do this.
It was a mistake making a crunchy game for gays. I mean, I failed math 3 times. I don't know what I was thinking.
I had the choice between the astrology subclass and the math subclass, and I did not pick astrology, but this game is pushing it to the limit.
Sora reads books that are not math books.
I only know math when it involves money.
All right. So, Sora, you see ahead of you the black dot of the train in the distance, and you see as it is at this point a part that sort of like turns maybe cinematically over the coast. And you can see this like beautiful rotation where when this sky train was in service, it would have had a beautiful view over here of the ocean. And at this point, there are maybe like otherworldly tendrils visible kind of faintly at this point from the sky train. And 3 airplanes are chasing behind it in view. So
Skytrain ahead.
Yeah.
However, I make my plane
altitude
go.
are the new airplanes?
Yeah, let's do an eyeball on these ones this time instead of just attacking them.
And so yeah, roll your eyeball. Well, ask your question first, because I keep forgetting to do this. But ask me your question first and then do your roll.
I'm not rolling this, to be fair. I'm just saying Tara is signing in her plane. Are these the right ones this time? I don't want to stab innocent people. Please check. Again, look, it was only a partial stab.
I love how Hans just comes into view just to go by and go again. Like,
I would like to roll to see what altitude they're at and like who they are.
Yeah.
Whichever of those questions.
Well, altitude I will reserve for an engage roll.
Okay. Right. That's a thing in this game. So yeah, who are these guys? I rolled a 19.
You rolled a 19?
Plus 14.
For who are they? Great. So what you know is this is definitely a red talon, and I think we see like a maybe like a cinematic cinematic lineup of the 3 of them, because they are extremely there's some personalities. So first and foremost is the leader of this particular band of pirates, Biff the Himbo Mage, in his aviator cap that is also a wizard hat, and his tank top. And it is hot mage summer for him, even though it's quite cold, because he has managed to use magic in order to create a heating bubble around his plane. You've seen him do this before in cold climates when we had a previous encounter with him, and you're like, yeah, I could spot that one a mile away. Next up is I want to call him Draco Malfoy. I want to. Can we just call him that? Can we just move forward? All right.
Steve
Next up is Draco Malfoy, the Scion. He is flying the most expensive plane. It was custom made, and it is the most expensive plane. It was gratuitous. It was expensive. There's things that are stacked onto each other very ineffectively. There's rare materials, expensive silks. There's dragon hide, like horrible. It is a wasteful plane. It is a set of patterns that are difficult on the eyes. And it is managed to be sort of like an attempt at classiness that is horrible, because he clearly had enough money to get there. And he didn't. And last but not least is Wilhelm. Wilhelm is going ahead and just flying the loop-de-loop plane, the one with the ring-shaped wings. And Wilhelm is flying the loopy plane, and this is someone who's part of Sora's backstory. Someone who was a tight race for best of B tier in all of the classes, And so the vendetta is real here. And Erika, you get your advantage forward to act on, reacting. And you know what? Since Engage usually doesn't get any bonuses, I will say, if you are so inclined to be the person who rolls the Engage roll to see how high up they are.
Wow, that's broken. I'm gonna roll that.
Sure is.
Okay, yeah. All right, I'm rolling our Engage roll then, because, oh boy, a bonus dice on Engage. Let me throw another D10 on there.
It was
and roll.
customized entirely to be expensive. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat while I was saying that.
All right. Yeah. No, we're good. We got a 16.
To paraphrase a tweet I saw, no one knows who wrote Harry Potter, and I think that's beautiful. What was the result of the
Good
engagement?
point, Pablo.
16, full
Thank you.
success. We're good.
16. All right. So you have your pick of the pie for your engage roll. You choose 2, and the enemy chooses the other one. So where are you at?
We should definitely be above them because that's always good.
Okay, I know why they're flying real low, real low, and I will get to that in a moment. But what is the other one you choose?
I have to remember what my own rules are.
Spot the enemy and act while they are unaware. Catch them spread out, or come in behind your foe.
Right. We should. We'll come in behind them. We're kind of naturally positioned there already.
Okay, got it. So meanwhile, they are able to spot you, and you catch a lot of sign language, a lot of pilot signing for what the fuck, bro? Who are these people at each other? And so you know you've been spotted, but you are already behind them, and they're quite low. And they're quite low because they saw a sky whale dunk into the water and then like emerge out. And I mean, it's quite a majestic sight. And so they flew low below the rails just to like see this unusual sight. And so you have quite the altitude advantage over them. And they're trying to like climb back up little by little. We have finally reached the combat part of the game. And so expect the rules to be ignored a lot. But this is a PPTA game, so we are not rolling initiative. I'm going to prompt people if they are not immediately telling me what you're going to do, and then the baddies will start doing stuff as fits the narrative in between, is how I'm going to be doing this.
Awesome.
So you are already behind them, which is necessary for shooting them with your airplanes. And you are above them, which means that you can approach them very fastly. And that's great for hitting them. So who would like to act? Who would like to do things? I'm going to remind you, by the way, Buns, like, as a witch, you can ignore all of the rules and just do whatever you want. It is written that way. Like, just to be explicit.
Which is the playbook for people who are like, man, I do not understand this plane stuff.
Well, if that is the case, I would well, we know that these are the people we're supposed to be hurting this time, so yeah. I'm gonna make like by this point we have signs to each other to kind of like say what we want to do, and I'm gonna look over at Tara's plane because like they said they're the zippy ones, and I'm gonna be like, I'll cover you, and then so if they go in, I would like to use out of mind on them because they know they followed us, but they haven't really seen us. I'm gonna tell Tara to turn off their engine and cast out of mind so they don't see her coming. And I want to like dive bomb at them.
Oh shit!
Wow. Okay. Well, I can take that a step further, and
Yes.
Rather than turn off my engine, I'll put my autopilot on, and I'll just jump out of my plane entirely, and then I'll glide and
Okay, 'cause
not
you
have
have
an
the suit.
engine because I have a gliding suit, and so I won't have any engine sounds, and you can do it that way.
Beautiful. And
Yes.
so what does it look like when Sparilla casts their magic on Tara?
Well, as everybody has seen, I did choose one. I do have a familiar. It is my dog, and so they know that when I go to cast big spells like this, that I get out of the cockpit and they kind of put their paws on it, just to hold it steady for me, and it's kind of like lined up with Tara, like we both get on like the wings of our plane, and when they go to jump, I go like this with my hands, kind of like making them invisible as they jump off the plane, like they dive into nothing.
So like I just whoosh and I just am vanished as I move forward. That's so good.
Excellent. So
I may be weird and wrote down names for my spells, but I didn't know if you wanted to go.
Oh no, please ham it up. Bring some Mucha Lucha energy into this particular game.
Do not give me the nostalgia of Mucha Lucha.
I've sniped you.
You have.
And so we see Tara set the autopilot on her plane, dive, and then maybe even just the camera view is like the camera pans behind Sparilla's plane, and Tara is not to be seen as you are gliding onto one of the planes. So you have your 3 adversaries. I've nerd sniped the audience as well. Mango is back to an early Saturday morning in their childhood. Tara, you're making the move. You're going to try and board one of these planes, huh?
Yeah, so I think that the way this is going to work is since I'm gliding instead of in my plane, I'm a little bit slower. So I will go ahead and wait until the other 3 go do something, and then I will latch onto somebody's plane and do some crazy shit. But it'll take me just a little bit longer since I'm going to physically arrive. So go ahead and everyone else do something cool.
Okay. So while the 2 of you have taken this course of action and gotten started here, you see that Mr. Draco himself is going to try and get behind one of your planes, and so has managed to climb up to Hans's altitude at this point, and is going to try and dogfight to get behind you. So I'm going to need you, Hans, to roll a dogfight, and I will happy to walk you through this. But you're dogfighting to evade, which means you're just going to roll 2d10 plus keen, and you are, let's just hand wave it. Say you're at a -1 for your agility bonus, and just leave it at that.
Okay.
Your plane is not very fast. It would be considerably not that bonus. But that's fine.
Cool. All right. 10 total.
I have a question.
Yes.
For our Devil's Bargains and Gremlin's Bargains, do we have to declare those before we roll, or can we, after taking the roll, decide that we want that +1?
Well, I mean, I think if you don't use, I think you do have to roll. You declare it before you roll.
Okay. Noted.
All right. Yeah. So that's a 10.
Okay. So you roll the 10. This plane is getting in right behind you, and you see as Draco's got you straight in his sights, and he's just making just an insufferable face, just the little stinker. He is just fucking his stupid punchable face.
I'll provide a good Muppet face for him. Just I hurt my chin. I oofed too hard.
Oh no.
That's good. Someone in chat says, "I've got you now, Potter." And I think maybe he signs because you've all fought against the Circus previously, and they're just like, "I've got you now, Hans," but it's in sign language because you're in airplanes, and
looks up how to say mother.
And so you're going to roll to take fire in just a little bit, but we're going to cut narratively to the next person. So between Ding and Sora, who's next?
I go
ahead.
I would like to dive on somebody, but that's kind of beside the point because what I'd like to do is take a devil's bargain.
All right.
So yeah, I'm I'm going to go after our student. No, wait, that's somebody else's backstory. I should stay away from that. That's how I make tactical decisions. So I'm going after our himbo wizard.
Okay. And himbo wizard sees this coming and just stands up out of their cockpit. And I think, I didn't think about this ahead of time, how he spell casts, but Biff is doing.
Does he flex his muscles?
I think he's flexing his muscles, but he's also voguing a little bit. I think he's showing off the tank. I think he's really owning what he's got, and it's really entrancing. And then at the end of it, he snaps his fingers, and your plane's engine shuts off.
This must be the work of an enemy stand.
Was that a JoJo reference?
The engine cuts out. It's just to be continued.
Golden Wind starts playing.
That's good.
Oh my god.
That's good. And so I think we're in this fun situation where you're now just about on his tail, and he's trying to rise up, and you're trying to dive a little bit, but now your engine has stalled. That's difficult.
Yeah, that's suboptimal.
So how are you going to deal with that?
Boy, it'd be really cool if I had one of those starter motors that I took out of the game.
Oh no.
Oh boy. I do not know. Move on and I'll figure it out.
Okay. Everyone here, by the way, I don't think we've discussed this previously, but one of the coolest rules of this game is that you cannot die unless you agree. So just know that if harm comes to your plane, it will just sort of run you up horribly.
Gotcha.
It's even worse than death. It's debt.
Oh no!
Till debt. Till debt do us part.
Means expensive.
I think this is a great moment to pivot back to Hans. And Hans, you're taking fire. So the way that taking fire works in this game is that you are about to be shot at. I think just for the sake of narrative, or for the sake of teaching the RPG a little bit, I'm going to say your husbands are going to try and open fire. The ones on the wings are going to pivot back, and they're going to open fire to show you how this move works forward. And then the person who is behind you is going to open fire on you, and you're going to do the move backwards.
Fit.
What I'm saying is roll 2d10 plus hard.
12. No, 13, sorry.
You got a 13?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we see as two of your three husbands turn around in perfect synchronicity, and they point their gunner's turrets at Draco, and you see the tracers go, and they all line up perfectly. They start pulling the trigger to go shoot their machine guns, and then there's just some fancy maneuvering, and most of it manages to miss. But I'm just gonna say, roll a d20 plus 6 for me to see whether you get a crit.
D20 plus 6.
Mm-hmm.
You roll a 1?
I did.
Oh no!
That's fine. It's fine. I mean, I don't think your guns stall on a crit dice. So.
Yes, they do.
They jam.
That is a jam.
They jam.
Oh my god, that's unfortunate. Okay, so again, we're hand waving a lot of the crunchiness of this, but they shoot, and you can see as like some of the structure of the airplane wings have started to like come across. You see like just like one of your unnamed husbands is shooting towards the great, love that. One of them, which one?
Dietrich.
Okay, Dietrich has got Draco Malfoy in his sights, pulls the trigger, and then just like fuck, and then just starts smacking the thing to try and get the jam out, because the plane has jammed. So it has done a non-negligible amount of damage, but didn't manage to get any kind of critical hit. So this is sort of the core of gameplay as I understand it, or at least as I've been running it for a hot minute, is the two ways to bring down an airplane is you do critical hits to make the important parts of the plane stop working, or you do enough sheer structure damage that the wings can't sustain flight. I'm waiting for Erika to tell me I severely misunderstood something in the game.
Don't add stats when gunners shoot. I had to try so hard not to say something.
Oh, there we go. We got it out.
I was just sitting here like,
Won't happen again.
I'm kidding. Don't worry.
Hey, I have a question.
Hmm?
Or is Sora, have you gone?
No, I have a thing I would like to do though.
Go for it.
You do that thing before I do my weird thing.
Okay, so Sora is going to be flying, and I want them to basically come at Wilhelm's level, stare at them in the cockpit, and then go on a chase toward the ghost train.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
You're going for it. Go.
Roll me dogfight plus keen to just sort of do some confusing maneuvers and just try to get ahead of this person in this chase.
That's not chase?
So we can do it that way if you would like. It would
But yeah, I first want to stare Wilhelm in the eyes
and just race.
and be like, I see you, you see me, let's go.
Okay.
Pull up
I'm
next to him at the stop sign. Start
How do
revving
you
the engine.
rev-
Really,
Okay.
except it's fly in front of Wilhelm's cockpit, so we're like nose to nose as airplanes, and then head out toward the train.
Also, I've seen that I have won a thing, and hooray. What is the best way for me to hand wave rules for chase? I did not anticipate this.
It's just whoever's playing is faster.
Generally, I think that's how a chase is supposed to work. You could do some sort of like roll plus keen if you're trying to be smart about it, or roll plus calm if you're just going to push through. If you want to make it a roll.
Yeah, I want this to be a cinematic moment that is a roll. And
Roll plus hard if you're going to be
I
nasty
think-
and try and like cut the other person off constantly.
I
Roll
think
plus daring if you're just trying to go for fast.
I like what I can pick up what you're putting down, and I like this a lot, Evie. So I'm gonna say, which stat best represents the energy Sora is bringing to the table for this race?
Which is vibing with? What's the vibe?
Don't look at your character.
I'm gonna go with heart. This is just all about that rivalry, and just like
moment in our
all that back and forthing at school.
Yeah.
And just like, nope, this is going to be our new defining moment.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
going to
think
go heart.
the first day when you were in class together, you took the first exam that you didn't pass since you went to university, and you sat at the table next to him, and he goes, "Welcome to the B Club, motherfucker." And he signs that to you and then just starts racing forward as quickly as he can.
So rude.
So roll your 2d10 plus hard.
I got to figure out what my heart is.
I don't know if y'all can hear this background music, but this open mic outside slaps. They're doing a pretty good job.
Oh, I have a question. Since Sora is a student, is there student stat things that could be potentially
Yes,
adding
that's-
to this role?
That's
for
great,
them?
because that is how this game works. Hey, of your students' skills, is there anything that you have chosen that can apply? Because the way this works is you can very arbitrarily use them whenever you want. Which is to say, if you tell me that you're using like engineering to overspeed your plane, or medicine to
Stuff.
poison this man in midair, like
It would be impressive.
It'd be very impressive.
I don't think I have anything for that. I have an 8 on the dice, or an 8,
Oh.
8 total.
8 total. And so you see so he signs you welcome to the B Club, motherfucker, and then he flies out as quickly as he can, and you can see that whatever he has done to his plane, it's he's pushing it beyond the limits of what would be sort of a responsible use of this particular bit of engineering, and he's not taking good care of his aircraft. You know a lot about the theoretical ways that you should be taking good care of your plane,
I read it in
and
the
he
book.
is not. And whatever you read in a book, he is not doing it, and he is winning this race.
It's not how planes are supposed to work. The book says that they're supposed to fly this way.
Yeah, and so the two of you are just like, and that sort of thing. I know how airplanes work, and you finally are able to make your way a little bit of narrative distance away from the rest of the group, and his airplane is making a couple seconds before you as it passes by this train. And again, otherworldly tentacles, flashing lights coming from the train cars. This looks like a pretty fucked up and janky SkyTrain. It's hanging from the metal bands, so it's like it's dangling downwards, and you can see as these like shards of darkness just like appear from the outside of the metal of the airplane and fly in your direction. I'm going to ask you to evade danger. So roll 2d10 plus keen. And then I believe we're going to be turning to Tara next.
Yes, I have.
I also still haven't taken fire yet.
We will be doing that as well.
12.
All right, you roll 12. So I believe that means out of evade danger, you choose one. You are left vulnerable as you recover your nerves. You're going to take melee damage, or you're going to go into a spin. Spin is punishing. Spin is rough.
Let's go with vulnerable.
Okay. And you can feel a hot spot on the back of your neck, and you're like, oh, and you try to roll to evade it as you're going to be taking fire from the laser beam of your rival student's heat ray. You'll have to see it. And we will get to the two people who are taking fire in just a moment. Tara, you're going to get the drop on someone.
I am invisible, and so I don't know if this is going to mechanically assist me, but I'm going to get up behind Biff as he has finished voguing and cast his spell and caused Ding's plane to go silent. I'm going to land behind Biff and with a flourish make my presence known in this wingsuit with these great big eagle wing feathers on them. And I'm going to say, "What's up, danger?" as I pull my sword. And in an overly fashy way, I am going to attempt to swashbuckle this man. And somebody has given to me a gremlin's bargain, so I will apply that. And we're just going to stack all these layers of things and have them happen all at once.
You're going to get the 2d10 from you're going to get the advantage from invisibility and your +1 from gremlin's bargain.
Okay, so it's 3d10 because of advantage for invisibility, a +1 from the gremlin's bargain, -2 because I'm being flashier than I need to be.
Yep.
And I'm swashbuckling. So I'm attacking with daring. So I'm gonna do this. All right. What do we got?
I believe in you.
Holy shit, that was a 10 and a 7. So it's a 17 +1, 18. -2, 16, +5 for my daring, 21.
On space.
So on a 21, on a hit, I have disarmed them, tripped them up, or made a fool of them. I definitely want to make a fool of them, as I am overly flashy and I draw the attention of everybody else with my "What's up, danger?" Onlookers are looking at me instead of something else. That way everybody else maybe gets some advantage on this. And I'm also going to take a soft move.
Yep, you sure are. So we managed to see as Tara sets down a bit of just sort of like nebulous visual fuzz dissipates as you threaten this person. The problem is Biff is heavily armed, but you're able to outmatch these guns. And you're able to, I mean, what does it look like when you apprehend him? Like, is this like a hold that you have him in now?
I want it to be that I have like dodged, parried, flipped him, and then managed to hook his foot on a lining cable on his plane.
Yep.
And slid it so that I've got like a hold with his foot, so he's partially like upside down in this really awkward position where he's like crumpled onto his own plane halfway into his cockpit and just really uncool. That is what I'm going for here.
Yeah, and so he's in an angle. His body is positioned in an angle where you cannot look confident in. And
Okay.
he is
I look
hooked up
confident.
on all kinds of pilot cockpit stuff, and he's totally restrained. And he just turns to you, and he's just like, "Not cool, Tara. Not cool. If I'm here apprehended and you're here apprehending me, who's flying the plane?" And the plane starts going into a steep dive.
Oh no.
And I go, that's the good. That's what I'm going for. Yeah, as I now have everybody looking at me because I absolutely am wearing super shiny accessories. So I've been flashing lights and making this dazzling like light show to catch everyone's attention. So all the enemies will be distracted as they also watch one of their comrades start diving.
Cool. So this next roll is going to have the advantage, or in this case, disadvantage, because this is going to be the next roll backwards. Hans, you're going to roll 2d10 minus Keen, and you're rolling the enemy's roll against you. So you want it to miss. You're going to roll with disadvantage. So you're rolling 3d10, and you're taking the lower two. Is that good? Did I say that right? Did I say it backwards? Who knows?
Just
They're
run with it.
taking advantage on this. They want the lowest numbers.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
So I've got 13 on the dice, and you said minus Keen, so would it be my Keen or?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So it brings it down to 12.
Brings it down
Still
to
partial.
12. Okay.
And those were the lowest two numbers on
Those
the
were the
dice?
lower two
Yeah,
of three
yeah.
dice. Okay.
Yes, I rolled a 10 and a 9.
Ooh.
Okay.
And someone else's roll.
So I mean, the problem is he's got a pretty powerful gun. I should have anticipated the way that I was gonna do this.
Crashes are exciting. Crashes are exciting.
Crashes are exciting.
I'm crashing. Let's make it a crash club.
I'm also
Crash
in the
party.
process of crashing. Like,
Some crashing is happening. I'm going to say that with that roll, you're going to take 12 structure damage and roll 1d20 minus 6.
Six total. And 1d20
Okay.
minus 6.
Wait, it would have been plus 6, but that still does make a difference. Yes. Because you can't get to 20. Okay. All right, so you don't take any crits, but you do take 12 structure damage to the max strain stat.
Mhm.
Sorry, did I say backwards? Resistance?
toughness first, then strain, but yes.
Toughness first, then strength.
Toughness first. Yeah, my apologies.
Okay.
Toughness is your ablative not dying.
Yeah.
And then strain is the one where your wings might actually pop off.
Yes.
Bad
As
you need those to fly.
yes. So as your airplane, is taking this, the bullets start to like shred through parts of the wings, but you, the important parts of the machinery and you and your polycule are yet unharmed, which is what really matters in our hearts. And so, is there? What is the expression we see on Hans's face as you see that like you've more or less been able to weather this?
I think that there's worry, of course, at first, just making sure everyone's okay, and then I think just a bit of resolve, seeing that okay, yeah, we're all right, we're all good, we're all right. Just a newfound resolve, like okay, we didn't come off to a great start, but deep breaths.
Powerful
Some
dad
fast
energy
breathing.
right now. Powerful dad energy. I love it. And so we smash cut to Sora taking fire as the person who's just beating you in a race has looped behind you and is trying to shoot at you. So you're going to roll 2d10 minus keen to evade, and you want a low roll out of this because you're rolling the enemy's die against you.
So is there any chance that my what's up danger is affecting these things, or were these things happening kind of before and during what I was doing? So they were not.
I think the way I'm going to rule it is you're affecting one player's roll, and also that makes narrative sense because Sora is a little farther away.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 6.
Okay, you got a 6. So yeah, it's a miss. You take a negligible amount, let's say 4 damage to the plane's wings, as just like some stray beams are cutting up parts of your wing, but not a significant amount. All right. And so you are, you've been fighting this person for a lot. You've been fighting this person since school. You've been fighting this person since you left school, and or since you've left being in person in the academy. And you know how this person fights. You're able to anticipate perhaps a little bit of cockiness and compensate pretty deliberately for his movements. You're just able to scoot a little bit to the right, and he's just signing to you, well, actually, you were supposed to scoot a little bit to the left.
God.
Because that's his only character trait. There are a lot of moving parts in the scene. Ding, what are you doing about your recovery here?
I'm just gonna have to climb to the front of my plane and start the plane, and hopefully not take my own head and or hand off with the propeller.
Cool.
So that'll be interesting.
All right. So you're gonna patch fix.
Yep. Cool. That's plus keen, right? I think that's plus keen. Let me look at my own rulebook. It is plus keen. Huzzah.
Excellent.
The stat I'm good at instead of the ones I'm terrible at. Yeah, that's a 14.
Okay, that's a 14. So on a partial for that,
use up one of my spare parts, take an injury, or I fix it and break a vital part in the process. Well, I'm going to use my buffer zone, use up all my spare parts thing, and hope that I don't get any more damage than I have. What's the odds of that?
Use my buffer zone of hurting myself to accomplish my tasks.
I think I'm gonna make it so I can't repair anymore.
Okay, got it. So we're able to see Ding just crawling over to the front of the plane and just like starting the propeller while no one is flying the plane. Get back in the cockpit, and they're back in the fight. Excellent. And so
Sparilla is so proud of you. Sparilla is so proud of you.
So temperature check on whether we want to take a quick bio break now, or we want to sort of continue the momentum of the fight a little bit. Either way. Difference.
Now seems good.
Now seems
Ready
good.
to continue the fight. Yep.
Let's do a quick bio break.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for we are like halfway, well, I don't know if it's halfway, but it's definitely an adventure. We're gonna be right back shortly. There's a giveaway right now going on for a custom GLSEN with Pride player token that you can use at your board game tables, which will be custom printed by one of our other GMs earlier in the day, Phoebe. So if you want to get on that, put exclamation point flying, and we will be back soon. Bye! Hello, everybody. We are back from break. We are in the middle of an exciting aerial combat. Just a reminder that we currently have a giveaway going on for a $20 gift card for Friday Afternoon Tea, who makes awesome fandom-related teas. It's delicious. I'm drinking some right now. Just put exclamation point tea in chat. That will probably end within like the next 30 minutes, and I'm going to throw it right back to y'all.
Hello. Welcome back. We're mid-combat. So, a couple of people are doing some stuff, but before we get to Tara's situation, Sparilla, you're watching as Draco Malfoy has lined up some shots on your buddy Hans. You've seen as Biff has managed to turn off the engine on Ding's plane. Ding has only just now fixed it, and then was apprehended by Tara, who appeared out of nowhere, apropos of you making her invisible. And a little farther ahead in narrative distance, Sora has been racing against I don't know what this character's name was, and I was about to just start saying names. Wilhelm?
Yes,
okay,
wow.
Wilhelm is the name that was going to come to mind. Victor, like, no, that's not a character right now. Wilhelm is having a dogfight a little farther up ahead with Sora. That is the current display of things. What are you doing?
I have, from my high vantage point, kind of seeing all of this happen. I've been basically kind of moving my hand around, kind of focusing on the target. And I do so like this, kind of like so I can aim between my fingers. And I've been chanting the spell Ixziwalifka over and over and over again to kind of build up the spell, which is going to be reach out. And there's going to be a present coming down to help out whoever I deem needs the most help. So it's kind of like holding this magic until
Magical Overwatch.
Is that what it is? Yeah. So like so whenever I see the person that needs it the most, that's when I'm gonna send down the spell. So I've just been like standing like right, like so the wings, and then there's the propeller, and then right behind the propeller, while my familiar keeps the plane steady for me, I've just been sitting there chanting the spell over and over again, like winding it up to send it out.
I want to know how you are planning to help. What is the effect that you want to make?
The effect is going to be the spell Reach Out, which lets me use a focus no matter how far it is away from me. And the focus that I'm going to be using are the feathers that were on that bird that I sent into orbit earlier.
So quick point of order. Reach Out means that you get to cast a spell when you don't have the object in your hands that you need to cast it. And that's fine. But casting a spell at a distance, you don't need that move to be able to do it.
I don't need that move?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I was just trying to use the move for narrative flair. I wasn't sure how to do it.
Sure, that's fine. And for when you are ready to when you have decided who you're going to cast the spell on and how you're going to do it, what effect do you want it to have?
It's going to be to take out the plane of whatever enemy.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it a pulling downward to the ground kind of effect? Or pushing downward to the ground, maybe?
Slapping it with something so they both go to the
ground. Got it. And if you roll, I can tell you that if you fail that roll, it's going to create some sort of uncontrolled storm. You're going to be a little too successful.
Of course.
Okay. You don't have to roll that right now. You can let me know when you have rolled it. However, if you're doing Overwatch on someone who you do not trust, I'm going to need you to take one stress.
Going down when we went through all the trust things, I ended up trusting everybody who's in my group.
And with that, I think we pivot to seeing Tara. I think we see on Biff's plane, which is plummeting downwards. You have this man strapped to the cockpit, just trying to finagle his way out. And you're like, hey, this is someone else's problem.
Yep. Like, yeah. You look like you got this. And I'm gonna jump off his plane and wingsuit again.
Yeah.
And I will use my if I need to, I will use my free as a bird. Well, nope, sorry. I will use free as a bird to spend my daring altitude points to get up.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go over to Draco Malfoy because he seems like he's causing problems.
You would. However, I'm going to say that Biff is going to intervene with your plan, make it slightly more complicated.
Fucker. Okay.
And Biff manages to like free his wrist just enough that he's able to reach to his wizard hat. He takes it off, and underneath he's got a baseball cap. And he takes it off, and underneath he's got an eagle feather, and he plucks the eagle feather, and then he just like crunches it between his fists, and then you turn and you see like where he was wrapped around and restrained around his hands. There were these like tangling wires from the cockpit. They're now wrapped around you. You're like, oh, that's a clever little bit of misdirection. How exactly did that? Oh, shit. And you're still being pulled down with him.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to use my sword to cut myself free instead then.
Well, I mean, it helps that you have a sword that cuts anything as a
Yes.
narrative default text as a starting.
Also, in response to this, Pebble is going to fly down to Biff's face and start like calling him terrible things.
It just like flies up. Graham crackers.
And then bites him on the nose.
And bites him on the nose.
Yeah, so I'll attack the cables and try and cut myself free so that I can get away, because I don't actually want to go down with the plane.
Yeah. So I don't even know what the best stat is to do this with.
Well,
I feel like it's daring because you're wing walking, just to see how quickly you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I want this effect to be is it's just delaying you quite a bit. It's going to take some narrative time for you to get up there.
Okay. Do I need to roll then?
No, roll to see how long it takes you. Like,
okay. Ooh, so that's 15, 20.
20? Yeah. So he takes off his wizard hat. He's got a baseball cap under it. Takes off the baseball cap. He's got an eagle feather. Crunches it between his hands. And then like all the wires have been tangled around him disappear. They're all on top of you. And then you, one foul swoosh. And you're like, what?
I flip him off. Like,
perfect.
You said.
And you watch as he turns around and tries to use whatever magic he can to stop a very expensive airplane from crashing into the water while you fly up and head over to Draco's plane. And it doesn't take you very much time at all. But while you were doing that, I'm going to say, so for Hans, you've had this plane on your tail. I'm wondering whether you would be interested in trying to turn the tables on your attacker and try to get behind him with your incredibly not agile, large polycule plane.
Ooh, polycule plane is a nice alliteration. Well,
it's also the theme of this game.
Yeah, that's what that's the move that he originally pulled on me. So that would be a nice.
It could be. Alternatively, you know that your side gunners are able to open fire while he's behind you. So.
Mm-hmm. Although one of them is jammed.
One of them is jammed, still working it out. And I think they're giving each other sort of very, very paternalistic advice.
Have you tried this?
Yeah.
What about that?
But they have to sign it to each other, so it's taking additional levels of time because they keep saying it and then forgetting that they're on an airplane.
Okay, yeah, I would like to turn the tables and take Gremlin bargain.
You take the Gremlin's bargain? So you get a -1 to agility with this plane, and you take a +1 with the Gremlin's bargain. So you're going to roll 1d20 plus daring.
D20 plus daring.
Sorry, 2d10 plus daring.
Okay.
To make this happen.
That's a total of 6.
Yeah. And so the problem is your plane is very large and bulky. It's a big plane. It has many gunner seat. And it does not have so much fast. And so unfortunately, just everywhere you're trying to go on here, Draco's quickly getting right behind your tail. And I think the way I want to hand wave, both for brevity and to get the Gremlin's bargain in there, is maybe even auto crit something unimportant. Or not something unimportant, but something that is not an immediate danger. And so he is just pulling down on the trigger, wasteful with very expensive bullets. And the tracers are hitting the side of your plane. And then you hear a click and you're like, huh, that's a weird sound for my landing gear to make. Oh no, I can't land this thing. That's a problem for future me and my entire polycule.
That's fine.
In the meantime, Tara, you are quickly arriving. Tell me what you're doing.
Yes. So I want to zip past Hans and kind of signal, "You okay?" as I go. No. I'll be like, okay. And I'm gonna zip past Hans and wave at the husbands. And then go land on Draco Malfoy's plane. Like, I want to land basically straddle in front of the cockpit, right in front of him. And just land and whip my sword up and be like, "Hey, buddy. It would be a real shame if all the money you put into this worked out to your disadvantage. And then I want to start chopping at his engine with my sword."
I don't know what you roll to hurt the plane.
It's a personal attack.
Yeah, it's
Plus
a D20
hard.
plus daring.
That's right. And with that, congratulations, Zax, for winning. And with that, he goes, "Wait till my father's hear about this."
I'm gonna go to pig farts.
Can I take a devil's bargain on a D20 roll?
Rolling a D20 with advantage. I've done that in a game that uses D20 before.
Right. But it's
Considerably broken.
Yes.
The advantage disadvantage is usually for the 2d10s.
For the 10s. Yeah. Okay, I guess I won't get the devil's bargain this time.
If you use a gremlins, it's just the +1, and on a D20, you're way more likely to succeed.
Do we have another gremlin?
We
I
have.
think
Yeah,
we only had
last
the
one.
we only had the one. So
Okay.
We have 3
so
of the other ones.
yeah. I wanted
Typo
to use
asks, "Roll to hurt the plane?"
yes, roll to hurt the plane. Can I turn a devil's bargain into a +2 and still take the hard move?
I think I want to just keep it simple. So
Okay,
I say
all right.
we use it or don't.
Okay, well, what is 7 + 5?
12.
12. So partial.
It's a partial.
So partial.
Partial.
I forget.
I don't remember what the
forget.
personal move is. Can somebody read it to me?
Yeah, personal.
I am looking it up right now.
Thanks.
The
Round-
ad hominem move, 11 plus hits for listed damage, natural 20 is a crit. So that's pretty good.
Okay.
When you use the melee weapon against a plane, you may damage a vital part of your choice on an 11+.
Ooh. Okay, I'm going for the engine. I
Okay.
said so. So that's
And
what
so-
I'm doing.
You take out the sword, and tell me what the sword that can cut anything looks like.
Ooh, right. So it's kind of got like a rapier's handle, but the blade itself is really strange because when you turn it, it seems like it's constantly on the knife edge. Like you can look at it and it looks like it's got dimensional depth to it. But every time you turn it, it just stays on the knife's edge. It's got some weird quantum things happening to it or something. And that
Nice.
allows it to kind of cut through into whatever thing I stick it into, and I stick it into Draco Malfoy's engine.
Yeah, and when you do that, you know that it is earnest when he says, "How could you do this to me?" As if the machine was an extension of the man. And he's he gives you just a guttural. You're seeing he's not even signing anymore. You're reading his lips. And then he just screams and pounds his fists on the dashboard.
God.
I'm just going to quickly pop right in here saying the next giveaway is starting, and it is a small watercolor painting by someone I think a lot of people in chat are familiar with, Forta.
Oh my God.
Awesome. Oh my God.
Oh, that's exciting. Holy shit. All right. So I think this might be a turning point in the story. And so as we see, I think we see like a silhouetted shot of some airplanes are starting to go down. And the camera will just pan where Sora and Wilhelm have been having their duel. And I think that Wilhelm sees that the tide is turning and is going to take a small machine out of his pocket. You've seen this type of like clockwork technology before, pretty new, pretty recent. A little strange that he was able to get his hands on this. And he just plants it on the dashboard, pushes a couple of buttons, and then jumps out. And he has a pneumatic wingsuit. It's the same kind of design that Terra has, but it has these like loud like sounds that it's making as he sort of clumsily and recklessly manages to land on top of the train. And I think that we are out of combat.
Moth has gotten into my room and has landed on my desk.
Oh no!
Hey. Directly likes my screen.
Trying to think of a good lamp joke, but can't.
That's the joke.
I'll lampshade it instead. And so all of you are able to see that your Draco Malfoy's plane just plummets into the water. Just is not going to be able to salvage very much in the way of the materials, and honestly, he doesn't really have the patience to do it, does he? Biff gives Terra a overly formal salute, and then snaps his fingers and disappears.
Ooh.
He's a wizard, so he can do whatever. He's an NPC wizard, so whatever's handy. And Wilhelm is going to try and is just jumping from train car to train car, maybe like ducking down and trying to see what doors are open, like trying more than one to see what is the best way inside. You can see that on the back of this train, because it's flying circus, there is a wide, long landing strip. Sort of like the caboose of this train is a landing pad, because it has to be for the story to continue.
I would like to try something then.
All right.
With because I've been standing there, and after not needing the because everybody's planes went down, but they're still on the train and we're still landing. I'm gonna kind of like sign to Ursula to like take the plane down, and I have a broom, and I would like to imbue that with flight and just jump on it and dive down so I can get to the train. So one of us is on this train.
All right.
Like I'm just gonna like pass Sora and just be like, okay, I'll meet you guys there.
Sorry, I didn't process that Ursula was the name of your in-universe dog. Your inter-universe dog is being extremely good and just holding the plane safe.
Oh my
Just
God.
peanut butter. There's like this really old smear of peanut butter there that she's really just like focused on, and that's why she's holding the plane. Because she's focused on getting this peanut butter that I'm like to the thing.
That's incredible. And is everyone else following suit, landing on this train?
Yep.
I can't land, so I kiss my husband's and I jump off.
Oh,
That's
right.
Good. I like that. I like the idea that the turrets are spaced really close, but distant enough that this is a time-consuming endeavor. That you do need to sort of crawl out of the plane. Someone else needs to crawl into the cockpit and make sure that everything is just like good. And
Can I help Hans so that he doesn't crash and fall on his face? I have a
Sure.
plane I'm not technically in at the moment.
That's true. Oh yeah, I could jump into your plane.
Yeah. And then you can land my plane and I can just gliding suit my way over. And that way you don't have to like smash on your face because you don't have a flying suit.
I do not.
It's like,
I really do
all
not.
right, guys, I love you. Mwah, mwah. I'll be back soon for dinner. And then, and then just yeet something.
Team
Trusting
Hans
his sturdy
blasting off
boots to catch
again.
Yeah, and then Scream will be down there and you can just kind of like plop off into it and take over control and land it so that you're safe. Let's not
Awesome.
lose one of the PCs in a bad roll.
Do I need
Yeah,
to
no, that's
roll
fair.
to land my broom? To land my broom on the plane?
Excellent. Excellent. So, sorry,
I'd just like to
you asked me a
quickly
question.
add-
Do you need to roll to land on the train? No.
Okay.
I have a question.
I'd like to add that my other husband, Jan, he gets the bit of food out of my beard.
Finally?
before I jump planes. Yeah, it's been there this whole time.
All this time with the wind in your face and it was still sticking
Yeah.
there.
It's still, yeah, it was a very
And he's
persistent,
just-
like, bit of fish or something.
Yeah, and he's just like, "Hun, were you really saving it for later?" And when you're not looking,
Yes.
What did
I was
you
going to say, I
say,
think you were
Sora?
saving it for later. And then you said that he ate it and it was perfect.
Sora, you were going to say something.
Other than the laser beam, what other things does my plane have?
What other things does your plane? The weaponry is the heat ray.
I want a grappling hook if that is possible.
Okay, tell me what you have planned.
Basically, instead of actually like going to the landing strip on the tail car of the ghost train,
Mhm.
Sora would like to basically grappling hook and attach their plane to whatever car is closest, and just be
Have
kind of
like a big
a kite above the train.
Yeah, got it. Yep, no problem. Absolutely. And
Like
so
a
we just
reverse air hook situation.
yeah.
Yes.
There's something similar to this for landing on zeppelins. We don't have to worry about it. So ching. And do we see Sora just like slide down onto the front of the train?
Not just the front, but whatever
Yeah,
train
just
car is
whichever
closest,
one's closest.
because they're trying to get to wherever Wilhelm is as fast as possible.
Yeah. We see Wilhelm just like kick in a window and just like slide in like around the middle point of the plane or train. Fine. Why do these words sound similar? It's not fair. Planes rights. So anyway. So we are sliding over, and I think you're probably pretty close to like the middle end of the plane. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And everyone else is following suit. They're all like towards the back end of the plane, and we've seen Sparilla land on the broom. Tara with the air suit, a wingsuit. I can say words still. And you're carrying Hans. Was that correct, Tara?
No, Hans is in my plane. I will glide down on
Got
my
it.
own
Perfect.
suit, but Hans can safely land by using my plane.
Yeah, got it. Because you have the autopilot.
Landing
All that
gear
makes
intact.
sense. And then
Yes.
is Ding landing like a normal person?
I mean, this will be the only graceful landing this plane ever does, because landing on a train would be really easy. It's already going about the same speed our planes can. So it just move down slightly and stop.
I mean, who taught Ding how to land?
An instructional film.
An instructional film. And so do we see a snapshot of the instructional film?
Yeah. It's I mean, given the era, it's got to be like, a picture of it happening a little bit undercranked, and then like a little info card pops up like, don't do this.
And remember, kids, don't land on a moving train.
Yeah. What did the film say about moving trains? Don't. Just big
Big red writing.
9.
Flashing. Do not.
It's just like, that was a lot easier than my video mentor made it sound. And so maybe we see like Ding climbing up the back of the plane. Sora is towards the middle. Everyone else is just sort of like landing and approaching. And you can see this place where Wilhelm has already entered the moving train. And like the floor is weird. I really don't want to lean into like like a full-on you can't trust your senses sort of thing, but I think there's just sort of like a little bit of like visual distortion and it seems off on everywhere else. And every once in a while you catch just like a glimpse of some sort of otherworldly tendril a little farther off in the distance, just sort of like lingers there for a moment and fades back into the train. Adventure awaits. Who's leading the fray?
So
I think Sora.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, do you have a move?
Well, no, but I do have armor and a awesome gun, so I'm probably the best going through the door first.
Yeah.
Sora, you seemed pretty intent on following this individual. I mean, you found exactly where they made an entrance. But Ding seems pretty intent on being the person who is protecting here.
Yeah, Sora's definitely like more into the competition with Wilhelm, not paying attention to the mission. Oh wait, we're doing the same thing, but their focus is no. I got to beat Wilhelm on this.
Well,
they beat me to the train. I will get there first. I'll figure this out first.
Right.
But is not paying attention to what am I trying to accomplish on this? I'm trying to beat Wilhelm first.
So what we see is Ding being like, perfect, it makes sense for me to go first. And we see Sora being like, I'm gonna win this time. And then we just see these two individuals crash into the window at the same time and just like break to the inside of the train.
Get caught going through the doorway at the same time.
Just three stooges.
Yeah.
Just the three stooges of them trying to get out the window.
So the inside of this train, this particular section, you can see that there was an attempt at luxury made long enough ago that it is now kind of little. I don't want to touch anything too much. There's plenty of old seats and various booths. I'm going to say there may have even been a film screen in here towards the front, for which the projector is totally unpowered. You catch maybe just a glimmer of light sparkling here and there. And the door leading back seems to be pretty intensely barred, and like barred in an old way that seems like it has not been opened recently, whereas the front door is ajar. And it seems like you have an immediate moment of safety here as the rest of the party is able to drift into the train, and you have a little bit of
land on my broom, because remember, right after Wilhelm landed, then I jumped on my broom and landed after him, and then everybody else landed, and we were all running. I wasn't sure where I landed in that fray.
Sure. I think I wanted to sort of narrative hand wave that like everyone was able to land in more or less, like for the purposes of the game mechanics, everyone landed more or less at the same time.
Got you. Just wanted to make
so sure. I think that you were able to see, it sounded like Sora and Sparilla were able to see where Wilhelm went in previously, but you're not like right hot on his tail. But all of you have now managed to like jump inside here, and there's a kind of energy in the room when you see something that was a very expensive, deliberate attempt at capturing people's enthusiasm a long time ago. And you're like, how is this thing still running? This is barely being kept together. You have, if you want to take it, a moment among yourselves just to like speak and react to everything before continuing your pursuit.
I'm gonna just really quick go over to the projector and see if there's films that I can salvage, because that's something that my character is into from the instructional films and everything.
Hell yeah.
I point my sword at it and ask Ding, is it a ghost?
No, it's probably not. I'm not sure now.
Oh no.
It's not a ghost. It's just, and they say it with like disgust, or just like, it's just technology.
Techno ghosts. And then I just start going, no, it's techno ghosts. And then I hold up a film reel, and that's the name of the film.
Yes!
Yeah. Yeah, that's canonically what happens. I love this enormously.
Is there anything around the room that would show who was in the car or anything like that? Because I know we were supposed to try to get the entity's attention so that we could calm it down, and that is kind of half the point going on. Chasing them is one thing, yes, but trying to get, if we can get his attention to come to us, why are we chasing them? That's kind of where Sparilla's head is at.
Sure. And so I think they were able to see that there are a number of different films across different genres with this old school projector towards the back. I really did envision sort of like a 90s substitute teacher projector, and that's not maybe.
I love those dumb things.
That's maybe not the technology of World War I.
This is strictly VHS only.
But the videos are all those specific colors, you know, when they made the VHSs, but they were like the specific colors, like the orange ones.
I like Techno Ghost in that it is maybe very what we would look back upon as very early science fiction. And I also like the idea that there might be some like old romances that spent a lot of times with like, you know, will he, won't he sort of thing. And I think that Techno Ghost is currently in Ding's hands, but as you're finagling it, just an old romance starts playing, and this is, I mean, this is Casablanca. Like it's just the equivalent of. There's a conversation outside a plane, and the two of them are having a romantic dialogue, and in the background you're hearing contact, switch on. Wait, I don't think it's on. And there's a lot more mechanic banter in this version, this AU of Casablanca.
The plane is what really matters.
The romance is between the plane and the mechanic.
Yeah, it's looking at you, kid. Now let's talk about lift mechanics.
I'm
pointing my sword at the like different things. Like, oh, there's pictures. Do I need to chop them? Oh wait, no, this thing's making noise now. The sound's coming from over here. Do I chop them? And I'm just like looking at everybody a little bit frantically, like, what do I kill?
If you want to chop something, just go stand guard and see how far they've gotten. Can you see them?
I go out the next door to see.
Right, and Sparilla's gonna like after you go out the door, they're gonna like stand in that in between of like the train cars while you go on in case you need backup. But it's like, okay, you can go like clear the next car so we can try to run through.
Yeah.
Clearly, I need to be sent away before I cause damage to Ding's very precious collection.
I'm like, Ding, please just grab what you can so you can come back for it, maybe.
And with that, I think as Tara runs over to the next room, door closes behind. What was once a projector has now like a projector screen has fallen apart, so it's just being projected against the wall. You're able to see that the protagonist of this particular film is a fisher who has some notable traits. I think the vampire squid sort of like colorful pyramidal head sort of thing. And he's very formally dressed and just having a silent, inaudible conversation with like an inlander woman who's not a fisher. And the two of them are just sort of like having this silent, incomprehensible conversation back and forth. But you feel so confident that like, oh, this actor, is the person that you're looking for. Huh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And Sparilla like looks back at Sora with like, because for them they're like, you're the one that remembers stuff, and you're like the smart person in the room. Is this the same type of fisher that the chief was talking about? Because they were all like different types, so I was like, you would remember, right?
Sure. Yeah. Let's say she gave you a description and fits the vampire squid 5. My favorite fisher.
Yeah. I mean, based off the notes I took, the description matches.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, if they're there, maybe we can get their attention. excuse me. They're like talking to the projection of the thing. Excuse me. Your family is very worried about you.
Yeah, and everyone on the projector screen just turns and looks at you with a blank expression.
It's so good you sent Tara out of the room. Oh no.
You would have fucked them up. Oh no.
Are we good with this level of horror that is currently happening right now?
Yes, this is good.
Okay. This has turned up way more than I originally anticipated. In the next room over, Tara, you see a room full of people dressed in the most elegant pre-war fashions. And then you blink and you're like, no, these are all mannequins. Okay, sorry, that was dumb. Okay, oops. And you see that this next room is all a store for shopping. I know words from human speech, such as English. This is a clothing store train car. This is a fancy clothes store car. And so you can see across all of the different aisles are various clothes. And, you know, they've at various points been eaten by moths. They have not been well kept or anything like that. And you can see where various of these have been just parted and knocked over by someone who is walking in here before you. Is Tara staying and lingering in this next place, or is just beelining for the next thing?
A little bit of both. They're like, ooh, shiny, pretty stuff, colorful. Ooh, grabs like a scarf that stands out. As they're still like going this way, but like, oh, that mannequin has a really nice scarf, and pulls it off this very floral pattern. It's got a bunch of rainbow coloring on it, and just kind of like picks that up and is like, oh yes, and wraps it around their arm because it's not, you know, it's moth-eaten and stuff, so it's not good enough to wear as a proper scarf, but she creates an armband with it, and then continues forward as everybody else has a ghost encounter.
As everyone else has a ghost encounter. And in the room where you were back, the images on the screen are just staring blankly forward. And he had a name. I said his name.
Yes.
I wrote down his name. Hartswin. He opens his mouth and just sort of like utters a few words silently, but you can't hear any of it. And then the title card comes up and says, "Why are you here?"
Oh, like the old silent films, like they would say stuff and then the title card would come up saying what they said.
This is an episode of WandaVision for the rest of the next 40 minutes, by the way.
I just wanted to make sure that my mind, my theater mind, was doing the right thing. We're here because your family sent us. Did they say that was their son? Did they say it was their son?
Nephew.
Grandnephew. Nephew and grandnephew are words that were spoken aloud. That was deliberate.
Your uncle sent us to talk to you.
And
sorry, go ahead.
Sure. And he just sort of like shakes his head and just begins to like walk towards the camera. And so you just watch this person get larger and larger in the projection. And he just sort of like speaks and it's inaudible. And then the title card comes up that says, "It's not like that anymore."
It's not like what anymore. And they for what's happening, Sparilla is like not that turned off by anything that's happening right now, because I picked the build where they're like magic's everywhere. So this is just more magic. They're like, it's not like what anymore. They're concerned about you. You've misplaced your thoughts when you left. You're hurting the train, and they're going like this, like the tentacles that we saw like in the distance. Like you're hurting the train.
Very serious.
And he he like cocks his head to one side, and he goes. He just sort of shrugs, and he opens his mouth and he goes, "I'm hurt because they hurt me, and then he snatches his hand out towards the camera, and then the projector turns off.
Oh no. Oh no. They're like still like yelling, like they think like there's a possibility they might sue you. If someone hurt you, that's why we're here, to stop them and to help you get back to your people.
Yeah.
Well,
and sorry, I just want to say for
Yep,
Sparilla, there's a dead air in the room that makes you feel like whatever conversation you were having
Is done.
Yeah, this person is not listening right now. Sorry, Erika, you're saying for Ding.
Oh well, this is a pretty cool movie, so I'm gonna take the reel.
What's
It's
the title?
so
of the
interactive.
And just like, does Ding have just like a bag, a purse?
They just disappear under the mass of.
Takes off the mask, puts a film reel inside, puts the mask back on. Crunch.
Yeah, presumably there's like bags or something in there, but
5 different ponchos you're wearing. You can
Yeah,
easily
exactly.
hide some messenger bags under that.
like the only reason you know that they're armed is that every once in a while the barrel of a carbine will just like emerge.
What are Hans and Sora doing in this spooky interaction they've just had?
It's very spooky. I think Hans wants to go over to the projector and see if there's any signs of it being like messed with or interacted with, any signs of, this otherworldly interaction that we just had. I guess mainly with an idea of like, if there's like purple goo here and I see purple goo elsewhere, it's a clue.
Yes. And sure, I think that maybe there's a faint reddish purple residue, and it's like ghost stuff.
Good old ghost stuff.
Ectoplasm.
Yeah, I don't want to say the word, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so you are able to so you're able to see all of those. You're able to see those things. Ding is just accumulating the prize over here.
I just want to wave Sora over to this goo that I've seen. It's purple, ready purple residue, and just be like, "Have you read about this in any of your books?"
So first, during the first part, Sora was like taking notes as to what was happening. Like, this is very unique experience. Walked into a train car, projector turned on magically, I guess, and detailing what was happening in a very like scientific method version of the events. Was able to communicate with the figures on projector screen through the projector. They were able to clearly notes were able to observe that the figures on screen were able to hear and understand us on this side. Interaction was limited to nonverbal text cards, and just very scientifically written that down. I don't know if I've actually read about ghost stuff.
Nothing peer reviewed. You start dropping scientific method exposition on you. Like, I'll meet you beat for beat.
Hans, sorry. Nothing that's peer review that I've read that has ghost stuff.
Okay. I guess I'll draw everyone's eyes to it and be like, just keep an eye out for this stuff. Even Sora hasn't really read about it, so.
Very cool.
I mean, there's pulp novels, but nothing from the science world.
The science world only goes so far.
Very good. So for the sake of narrative flow, do we want, for the sake of how we want to have the scene, do we want to continue having the party sort of divided and Tara continuing to explore ahead of everyone else? Do we want to just sort of like say like there was a back and forth checking in and everyone's moving in together?
Does Wilhelm occur at some point? Is I guess my question in regards to that.
Sure.
Because if Wilhelm occurs, I'll do a move and that can be where everybody else catches up to me.
So you start barreling through all the clothes, and the clothes you realize are arrayed in there. This room is so packed with different outfits that it would be very difficult for someone to barrel through and easily get through. Just while a bunch of stuff is knocked over to find the next door, which was like is slightly ajar. You turn it open and you see a barrier semi-translucent. That's weird. That's a body of water. That's weird. And you see past it the faint semi-submerged visage of Wilhelm inside.
Is Wilhelm conscious?
It's kind of hard to see from here, but it looks like he's moving around an amount in there.
Okay, so I was intending that I was going to apprehend him rather than rescue him, but letting him drown seems shitty. So I think I'm gonna attempt to kind of rescue him.
So maybe just for RPG logic fluidity, everyone else starts to filter into the room with all the clothes at the same time that Tara passes through this watery barrier. And Tara, as you walk to the other side, it was a thin wall of water. And the other side, there's no water here. You can breathe just fine. Oh, wait, there's fish though? That's strange. Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, Wilhelm is still here and still needs to be apprehended.
Yeah, and Wilhelm is here and he's taken out his weapon, which is just like a manual shock stick thing, and it is not working. And he's like, I'm having a hard time determining how underwater we are.
Well,
on a scale of 1 to underwater, how underwater would you characterize us as right now?
Let me see if I can maybe do some more tests. I'm gonna swashbuckle him and try and knock his ass on the floor. And I'll go ahead and take one of our devil's bargains that some people have purchased for us. So I will take advantage on this roll to make it happen, but there will be a hard move consequence. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. That is not the greatest. +5. So fucking math. 14 on my swashbuckle move. It is a hit. It does work. So I will knock him on his ass. But I guess I get a hard move in response. And does he like floatingly fall when I trip him up or what?
In fact, you have this weird thing where like you do not experience, you're not experiencing drowning is the main thing I want to drive home here. It feels like you're breathing air. Your movements are sluggish as if you were underwater. And so are his. So he's just trying to fight you. And it feels like a fight scene in The Matrix where people are very incompetent. And so he's trying to block you with his like stun staff. And then you take out the sword that can cut through everything. It's just like, and then you just cut it in half and you're like, well, this worked out, I guess.
Yes. Then I trip him and watch him fall very slower than intended.
Falls really slowly, and he's just like, God damn it. Didn't take the physical education stat block. What can I say?
Oh, no.
And the hard move is there is a firm hand around your wrist, and you turn around and you see a person who you would be able to recognize if you had been in the prior room as our actor friend. and he is wearing the exact same shirt that you pulled out from the rack and wrapped around your wrist. He's wearing an exact copy of it. You said it was a very colorful one?
Yeah, colorful flowers.
Yeah. And so I don't think he's particularly live, but he is just wearing bright, beautiful, flowery colors. And he just has this severe intensity in his eyes as he has managed to just like grab your wrists. And he is moving at normal speed, just total fluidity. This is his environment.
Yeah.
So like a little pufferfish swims by between the two of you as you lock eyes.
So because this is a hard move, I imagine I'm gonna probably have to like take some sort of pain or injury, possibly. Maybe it's flavored in that I just took down Wilhelm. Who's this guy? I'm gonna take him down too. But obviously I can't move as well, and so instead I go on my ass.
Yeah. And so we see Wilhelm just like way too dramatically, just like, no, fall on his ass. And then we just see like Tara be like, ha, yeah, wait, no, who's this? No.
Exactly.
And he goes ahead and he goes, rude of you to intrude upon my home, isn't it? I've made my home here, haven't I?
I'm hoping this is when the rest of the group is here so that you guys can talk to him.
And with that, everyone who had made their way into the room with all the clothes, you know, I think that it's pretty easy for Ding to spot the outfit that was being worn in AU Casablanca. And you imagine that there might be, in fact, quite a bit of his wardrobe crammed in here.
I'm just going to start grabbing everything that looks cool.
I'm not the only bad grave looter.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of old fashioned in here. I say old, like this particular Fisher gentleman is, you know, like in the sense of this generation is extremely distrusting of the prior generation, more than 30 years old. And in the sense of being 30 years old is extremely young and youthful. I say as a millennial, extremely loudly into the mic. And so you're able to see that there is a bit of a fray and someone has apprehended Tara, and everyone gets the chance to move through that water barrier into the next room.
Cool. So when we arrive, Tara is on the floor.
Yeah.
With Hartwin like standing over her. Is that what's happening? Like,
yeah.
In a menacing kind of way.
Yeah, and he just turns to face you, and his face just goes blank, exactly like the film.
Approach, like hands up. Approach. Gonna not get too close. Like come in the door and like around, so I'm not getting in his personal space. And so that he can see who all is coming in, not trying to ambush him. Just say, look, what Sparilla said before is true. We're not here to hurt you. And if you're hurting, maybe we can do something to help with that.
And he goes, what are you going to do? End the war? It's been raging for years and years and years, and it's taken everything from us.
No, wait. How long has the war been over?
The war has been over for, was it 20 years or something?
20,
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Oh, this is a shade. Ah, shit.
Okay.
The war is over.
We have a ghost situation.
Right.
All hands on deck. Somebody called the Ghostbusters.
I thought you said it wasn't a ghosting.
Ghost.
It's
Ghost.
It's a memory. It's a memory. They're stuck. The war is over.
And he just sort of like blinks at you. Doesn't even seem upset.
Do you believe us?
And he goes, just without acknowledging what you said, our little town, secluded. We had our ways of life. They were simple, humble, gracious, and not simple, and proud. And we had things that changed over time. But just before the war began, they came and built that stupid theater. People came from all over the continent, and they set up their performances. They came in on this little train, and they dressed themselves up so nice. And I was the most pleasing to their eye out of everyone in town. And they cast me in roles, and I was useful to them until I wasn't. Because you can't make war propaganda out of someone who looks like me. Temperature check. Is this level of discussing this subject feeling good with people?
I'm still
Okay, go. And he goes, and so the war began, and they took what was useful, and they cast off what wasn't. And I had learned to love it, and then we were cast off.
You miss performing. Is that true? Or do you miss being useful?
I think that he laughs at that, and he gives like just a very dry, empty laugh, and he goes, I liked performing, but whose roles are these? I was slotted into the ones they gave me.
What did you want to play?
And when you say that, his neck snaps towards yours. And he goes, I never got the chance to find out, did I?
You seem to have all the time in the world now. Just like your village has a lot of time. They're still proud. They still fed us. And I want to like talk about the food that they served, like hoping it's like the same type of food and everything. Is like they still sat us down. They still asked us these questions. Your village is still there, and they're worried about you.
Yeah.
My people were look, they can't make war propaganda out of people that look like you, and they can't make technology seem like it's worthy if they're still, and then I want to like make like a little flourish of magic. They can't make technology seem like it's worthy if there's still this. So I get it.
Yeah. And he starts moving towards you, just like sauntering slowly, and he goes, I like what you just did. What role do you want to play?
They like look around at like the other, like, you know, their friends, the people that they trust, and they kind of like stop on Ding, and they're just like, somebody who protects other people and doesn't just take from them. And I found a way to do it. And I didn't need a war to show me.
He nods, and he goes, you're hiding something.
Yeah, I'm hiding a lot of things. You got to be specific.
And he goes, there's something about, points to you, Sparilla, and then points to Ding and says, there's something about your protecting them. Something you're guarded about.
You haven't seen them walk 10 feet. I'm very worried about them.
And I think they turn to the rest of the group and they go, You're all worried. You're all guarded. And they turn to you, Sora, and they go, you came here after this one, and points to the person who's just like, Wilhelm is just like on the ground in slow motion, like.
Yes.
like one of the soccer players who's really trying to get like a free kick or something. That's
Right,
what-
but it's going, yeah, but it's happening very slowly.
All I'm thinking of is the Tin Man from The Wiz, not The Wiz about going teeny. teeny.
And they go, but if you had won the race, would it have really changed anything for you?
No, because between us, it's the act of the race. That's what's important. I needed him in school as much as he needed me to prove that we're not the greatest, but to make ourselves better.
Yeah, Wilhelm is on the floor just like, I didn't need you at any point. It was just me.
I'm gonna kick him in the face.
You are ruining a moment.
Yeah, I kick him in the face. Shut up.
It's so slow.
Yeah, and Hardwin is Hardwin smiles and he goes, I like that you enjoy the performance more than the lie.
Oh, I thought you liked the kicking in the face. I thought that was pretty funny.
And he turns to you, Ding. He turns to you, Ding, and he's just like, I don't not like it.
That laugh was in character. I'm so sorry.
I will flip off the line and be like, B group, motherfucker.
Yes, I love a callback. And he turns to Hans, he turns to Tara, and Hardwin goes, I can't tell what the two of you are hiding. Maybe that's how guarded you are.
Maybe I have nothing to hide. I'm a pretty open book. I brought my husbands with me. You know, I'm not hiding much.
Somewhere out of shot, they're giving you a thumbs up.
They fly past the window.
You tell him, baby.
We support you.
They're saying that to every window.
Yeah, just hoping that I'm in one of them.
Oh, I love your backstory so much. And he goes, but there is something there. There's an indulgence in doing something this flashy, and a fear that even so, it won't be enough.
Perhaps, but the more I do this, my definition of enough changes.
Yeah, he just sort of sits with that.
Like your definition of a role, of what you really want, might also change.
Yeah. And I think he meets you where you're at, just like meets your gaze and nods slowly. And then he turns to Tara. And he says, some things we can't change. Some things are bigger than us. I had no way of stopping this war. How are you going to stop the war, Tara, if you keep fighting and fighting and fighting?
I didn't stop the war. I'm with you. The war took everything from me. My entire caravan was destroyed because of the conflicts. The handful of us who survived, I'm the only one that made it. I'm with you. The war is the worst. I have been giving the world back what it gave me. And I very slowly try to flourish my sword, and I give up partway because it takes so long.
Oh no.
These are the heaviest weapons.
Yes, mine's so heavy now. No, I gave up. I quit. But I think I'm realizing something. All this fighting, I'm very good at it. But nobody in this room knows who I am.
Who are you?
I like daisies. My favorite food is chocolate-covered strawberries. And I don't really want to hurt anybody. But if I hurt them first, then they can't hurt me. And I might want to stop that. Do you think you can stop that? Do you think you can put aside what the war has done and reclaim yourself? If you can do it, maybe I can.
I think he reaches out a hand. And maybe that's that scene. Holy shit, y'all. We got some fucking Pixar mileage of pathos over here. Like, that was... I think he goes, maybe I should come back home. And then smash cut to being back home. And we see the priestess Morgund talking to the ghost of Harkwin and embroiled in a very deep conversation of how long ago did he disappear and what has happened since then. And while that is going on, once you finally made it back, wow, this has been a lot. This has been stressful. So look at your character sheet and look at the list of triggers. And if any of those things happened at least once, then you mark that amount of stress. If the thing happened more than once, then it does not count as more than once. If something happens that's not on this list that you felt was stressful enough it should be adding stress, you can take an extra one. Tally that up.
I only have the one.
I've got one of mine is your plane stopped working. I had a gun jam, but does that, and my landing gear was faulty. Is that enough to take that one as stress? Plane stopped working?
Up to you.
Sure, why not?
I've got
In a
5 stresses.
5 counts as stressed, 10 counts as burnt out.
And if the job got out of hand, I feel like it stayed pretty in hand.
As far as ghost hunting goes,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we broke Tara's character, but other than that, I feel like Hans actually, what I understand of this, for Hans's experience, this was pretty like all in a day's work.
I pass around.
You're getting effusive praise and validation, but also they're competing amongst each other to see who can get the most hardest hitting compliment on Hans. So some of them are talking about the flying you did, some of them are talking about the things that you have communicated to them on the flight back about what you did while you were on the train. A lot of that sort of stuff.
Amazing.
Question. Is the bird we face, is that considered a fae?
No, that was just a regular bird.
I was just making sure because
Giant.
it says you failed. We didn't fail our mission. We didn't face them down. Did I miss a spell? Technically, I did because I never casted that one.
Smash cut to the bird that is just sort of like in the upper atmosphere, just like.
How did I get here?
How did I get here?
When will this wear off?
If there was a point, Evie, where if you had rolled poorly, your character would have gotten latched onto that bird if it had been really early on in that fight.
Bye, guys.
All right. So
I
the way
have 4 strokes.
the way that this is going to work is we're going to indulge in vices. Indulging in a vice that is already on your list, you do not need to roll. Make a tally somewhere that you have indulged in a vice. When you have hit 5 vices, the night was going to automatically end for you, and you're going to roll some dice at the end. If you're indulging in a new vice, you have to make a roll. If you're indulging in a new vice and someone is helping you, then then you get advantage on that roll. So, as concisely and quickly as we possibly can, what are people doing to make bad decisions after playing game?
Well, I have all these movies, and a survivor vice is watching movies, and there's a theater here. So I think I want to like set up a whole theater for everybody and just start putting movies on, starting with the haunted one. That sounds pretty good. I'm sure there will be absolutely no repercussions or problems showing this.
Yeah.
The movie starring this person who all this drama is about in the town that all the drama happened in.
Yeah,
I'm sure everything
and
will
so
be fine.
I think what happens is that Hartwin is in the middle of conversation and turns to his grand aunt and goes, Auntie Margwind, just 1 second, and then just disappears and is on screen.
Oh my god.
We only have, sorry, just to be clear, we only have a few minutes, so these are going to be pretty brief.
Gotcha.
Hans is just gonna, one of his vices is sleeping, and he's just gonna cuddle puddle with his polykill.
Yeah.
Logan, my heart, I cannot handle in my heart what is happening. Are you picking a spot under the stars?
Ooh, yeah.
Because it is cold here, but it might be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see all.
Yeah, we'll just have to cuddle extra close.
Yeah, you get to see all the constellations and stuff, and there's a big old weighted blanket. It's just,
and we fall asleep like naming constellations after each other.
Does anybody want to have a drinking game out of the movies that Ding is playing for us?
You put an app on the corner.
That is one of my vices.
If anyone wants to partake in this, you can make the roll for indulging in a new vice, which is plus daring. And if you're offering to teach someone, then that person is going to have advantage. Indulgent vice.
I will take you up on that as a familiar vice.
As a familiar vice.
Because it's on my list.
Then you can teach me because that's a new one for me.
Oh, actually, I just remembered a thing about a thing.
A thing about a thing?
So I rolled to learn daring. Nope. I rolled to learn drinking games. And I rolled a total of a 20. So I'm good at this.
So the way that this is going to work mechanically is, as long as you get at least a partial, it's going to function as a vice. And if you fail, then you get bad stuff.
I failed.
Oh, no.
You already know it.
Yeah, you don't have to roll because you
don't have to roll it. I'm rolling it because I don't know it.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Okay, good. Oh,
yeah, so
You're
no
good.
problem. You're in the clear. You got a freebie. The universe cut you some slack on this one.
So 6 plus 8
is Hans playing drinking games in the sidelines here? Is this Cuddle Puddle at the outskirts of the theater?
Yeah, Cuddle Puddle.
Yeah. Keep it all
the
close
edge of
together.
the
That'd be
amphitheater.
nice. Hmm. Yeah, we
Because
like
it's like a
grabbed
broken down
a
theater,
bunch
so
cushions
the
off the
wall is
unused
gone.
seats and just made it.
It's like an outside, like one of those drive-throughs, because like there's a rundown theater, like a wall is gone, so you can still see the theater.
I was thinking Grecian amphitheater style.
Ooh,
Ooh.
that's nice.
So
Excellent.
open air. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so the center is simultaneously a raised stage for live performances, but also has a projector screen and projector and stuff for the film that is playing.
So I think that what I'm gonna do is, so I've gotten enticed to watching these movies as part of a drinking game, but then moved along to, like, we've got all these romantic films that Ding picked up, right?
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to then kind of just like learn to enjoy them the way Ding is enjoying them. So if you wouldn't mind, Ding, will you teach
So-
me that vice?
So when you come and sit down next to Ding,
Yeah.
they have their mask off.
Oh.
Because I'm playing this character as kind of like a more advanced version of them, and they have a move called of two minds.
Ooh.
So Ding isn't the person under the mask. Ding is the mask. There's another. The person wearing it is essentially a different character with a different stat line. So you have just met Hannah, the person under the mask.
Hannah.
So hi, would you like to watch movies with me?
I'd love to watch movies with you.
All right, roll with advantage.
Awesome.
Yes.
I say that in universe.
Okay. Another
That's the name
20.
of the
Wow, you're very good at watching movies.
You're very good at teaching.
I think is what is the interaction with Ding that Tara does that feels really fun to watch movies together? Is it like a lot of banter? Is it a lot of talking after the movie? Is it just like making noises and being excited when stuff is happening and it feeling really earnest?
How does Ding watch movies? Because I'm learning from
Reading,
Ding.
saying the title card, like everything that comes up on the title cards, they say out loud.
Saying them out loud.
Yeah,
I will
'cause-
join in saying them out loud, and we'll like have roles.
So it's
maybe.
now like a conversation,
Yeah.
which is really nice for a character who spent most of their life alone. So
Cool. Any additional vices?
I have I have my vice to smoke after the drinking game, just like in the back of the theater, sort of overlooking everybody else. They normally end their nights like this. Sit down, baby. After
Sorry,
like,
Buns, you're a little quiet again.
Yeah, that's I had to move the dog. They normally end their night like this, just kind of always higher up, so they can see everybody. So they like see the cuddle puddle, and they see them down there watching movies. I'm not sure what Sora is doing other than being drunk now. They spark up and just kind of watch over, and it's just this like exhale of that was a lot. And they were called out on something that like nobody questioned afterwards, and they're just like, I don't know how much longer I can keep this up, and then they see like the interaction between Tara and Ding, and they're just like, but it's still pretty worth it. And then they like take another hit, and they just kind of like relax, like on a hill, and watch everybody. But that is their last vice.
One last vice for Hans, I think, would be like as maybe the night's winding down, movies are coming to an end. Maybe one of the like roll credits of the last movie is a song that Hans actually knows, and he'll start singing along. And if anyone wants to join singing in this song, as the night
That's
winds down.
wonderful.
I have the vice of music, so I'll pull up a thing to help.
I'm
Accompany.
flavoring music as singing. Yeah.
Yeah, and before the war, this town saw a lot of cultural exchange. So you, I think you even hear some people just outside the theater hearing you and start singing along, and you see this like more traditional Fisher choral music, while at the same time a couple of people pulled out some instruments and are whipping out some like upbeat jazz to accompany it as the instrumentals beneath.
Nice.
Ooh. Oh, I have something really sweet that I can do because everybody's playing music. I have a pre-war radio that I keep hidden. As much as I hate technology, I have this one thing, and it can send out. So I'm gonna like set it so that it's sending out what it hears, so whoever's out there can hear the music playing through my like over this old radio. So if there's another old radio out there, they have a little bit of music tonight.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
So good.
With this, the High Priestess Margans comes out with just this big wooden bucket and prepares a number of small bowls. And he goes, "Oh, we have a little treat here for you. Now that it's getting warm out, it's not warm. Now that it's getting warm out, here in Escarim, we have our well, we kind of just named it after the town. So I've prepared a special treat. It's called ice cream," and just pulls out scoops and begins to pour it out into bowls for various people.
Yeah.
This town is just the German word for ice cream. And
Sora.
A reminder that I have ice cream sandwiches in the freezer that I'm going to eat.
Oh, bad advice. What's the bad advice?
and I'm thinking maybe oh, Sora, go ahead.
Yeah. So Sora being drunk and is going to make some bad choices because we are not complete jerks. We did not leave Wilhelm on the ghost train. So Sora is going to, like, there's this wonderful music going on, and people are starting to have ice cream and just this really great atmosphere. So one thing Sora has is a camera, and they'll take a picture and then go find Wilhelm, say, "I'd like to take a picture of us," and then kiss him.
We all turn into middle schoolers.
You've never seen a chink in his armor before. He always is just fighting you and being competitive and being like, and all that good stuff. And then he's just frozen in place and doesn't know what to do, which is good because cameras in this era do take a long time to take a photograph. So it really does work out for you. But finally, he just turns to you and just is like, blinks and goes, "Can we do that again?"
I can do it better.
Competitive kissing. I challenge you to a lip battle.
That's a different kind of lip sync battle.
It's very good. And so you see maybe a more deliberate and calculated faces approaching each other, and it's just like lips meet, fade to black.
Oh.
Awesome.
Do we have any other vices that we want out of this?
I
This
have
thingy?
one more thing, but I don't know if Dean might have something.
I'm good.
No? Okay. Late into the night, possibly early into the next morning, Tara hasn't slept and is sort of strolling around. And I want to say that this tiny town that's also somewhat advanced has this sort of garden space that they keep. And she finds herself in this sort of large greenhouse-esque type garden space, this apothecary type thing, if I'm using the right word, I don't know. But she kind of wanders into there, and as she's wandering through there, she stumbles upon some daisies that are being tended to by a beautiful fisher girl who is just kind of like making sure that they've got the nutrients and stuff and watering everything. And she kind of stops and takes a minute and then goes over to this fisher girl and starts talking to her. And they both kind of smile at each other. And then you guys have to wait for a very long time the next morning because Tara is busy.
Yay. Not even a fade to black, just sort of like, just the camera starts to pan out.
To like the
And-
sound.
And I think that one of the things I want to leave on here is Heartwind is at some point, the has left the scene of the film and is talking to Margaret, and Hardwind goes, "They asked me what kind of role I wanted to play, and I don't think I had an answer." And Margaret goes, "Well, sounds like you have some time to think on it." And Hardwind goes, "I think I know the answer, but it's not a Fisher thing either. It's something new." And Margaret goes, "If you do it, it's a Fisher thing." And then the next day, the script to AU Rocky Picture Horror Show just appears in the middle of the town.
Yes.
I have an important question for the last shot of the film.
Please.
Where does Himbo Wizard teleport to? Where does he appear?
Himbo Wizard is posing powerfully with the sunrise the next morning at the top of the nearest mountain and just doing some stretching and just sort of like
Flexing.
"I'll find my bros later. They need me. But first, praise the sun." And that's going to be maybe the last shot.
Is the back is just
This game was perfect.
Y'all, this was wild.
I don't know what I expected.
So good.
That's great.
Thank you everyone, to Pablo and all the players and everyone who showed up today and supported this amazing charity stream. At the end of the night, we have raised $834.20. Heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's quickly go. Well, not quickly. I'm not in any rush right now. But everybody go around, introduce yourself. Please tell us who you are, where we can find you, what kind of projects you got going on. Let's start with Pablo.
Hello, I'm Pablo. You can find me at tender_ideas on Twitter, where I have tabletop stuff, and on Instagram, where I have poetry stuff. I've been known to do stuff sometimes. It's hard. It's been hard for a long time, and even now that the world feels like it's ending a little bit less, sometimes productivity is just not my wheelhouse. But one of the things that I'm working on is getting a primer for this game in Spanish, and soon. So that's what I got.
You want a popcorn? You want to popcorn over to someone else?
Oh, yeah. I'll throw it to Logan.
Cool. Hi, I'm Logan. Have been Logan. Will continue to be Logan. I'm on Twitter a lot at ink_and_stories. I talk a lot of tabletop things, largely indie tabletop stuff. I make my own games. Current project is my autobiographical tabletop game, which is a tabletop game that is also my autobiography. And it's very exciting and deeply and intensely personal. And I'm excited about it. That's me. I will pass over to Tara.
That's me. I'm Evie.
Evie.
Yep. Nope. That's all good. I've gotten used to the Tara name now. I caught it this time, so it works. Yeah, I'm Evie. I have actually been a name other than Evie, so I don't know if I will continue to be the name of Evie. But in the meantime, you can find me on various social medias at Evie Story. I'm actually playing in a streamed D&D space game, if that's your jam, on Saturdays, a few hours before what we did here just now at TTT RPGs on Twitch. So you could check me out there. And otherwise, I don't know. I try to fill my life with TTRPGs because I love the story aspect of them. I have many ideas percolating that I may eventually be able to work on in terms of content and streaming and stuff that I want to do. So if you follow me on Twitter, whenever those happen, the announcements will be there. You will know about it. In the meantime, I kind of just sort of tweet randomly.
Same.
You'll get that. And if you go to Instagram, you get pictures of the kitties.
Gosh,
So it's Evie Story Kitties
so
over
cute.
there. It's the kitties.
Look at them.
He's like, why did you pick me up?
Popcorn.
Yes. Okay. So I will send it to Erika.
Oh, I'm Erika Chappel. I wrote this game that we just played. And right now I'm continuing to write this game and all of its many spin-offs because I promised way too much in the Kickstarter. But the current thing that I'm working on is I'm working on a historical version of this game that will do a very serious historical version of it instead of this, which I don't understand why anyone would want, but people do. And also I'm adding tanks to this game in case you want to switch from things that barely fly that might kill you to things that barely drive that might kill you.
Excellent.
And I have put a link in chat. If you are interested in supporting Erika, you can purchase this game at the link I posted. It's really cool looking. And now that I have seen it in action.
And everyone's real names have fled my mind, and there are only character names Sora.
Okay.
Mood?
Also, I can't see them on the Zoom call because they ... out.
Hi, I'm Akemi. Let's see. I make games. Like my day job is I am a mobile game designer. I moonlight as a TTRPG designer on my off hours. I occasionally play games. Sometimes you can find me on the Utopia channel. What else? Oh, right, my Twitter, Ninja Penguin AM. My itch is the same, Ninja Penguin AM. I like penguins. Who's next? Did everyone go? No, I don't think so. Buns.
Hi, everybody. Once again, I'm a Buns. And you can find me on Twitter at honeybuns, and you can find me on Twitch at Bunnie. Right now, the most that I'm doing is that I run the PBTA game Mascot over on Magpie Games. So if you ever want to sign up and get a little feel of the player version of me being the GM version of me, you can always sign up for one of those awesome things. I have some stuff in the works, one of which is this awesome, like, semi-historical podcast that might be coming up soon. We are in works on it at the moment, but that will be showing up on Gold Heart Gaming. So hopefully you'll be able to see that upcoming and soon.
Delightful. And before Mare takes us away,
I
all of you are so fabulous. Thank you.
We do have a
Amazing.
last minute giveaway because we got a last minute donation. So
Oh.
I'm opening that right now. Type !flying in chat if you want to be entered to win a gift card to Eris Savad. She makes a lot of amazing TTRPG like dice bags and trays and stuff like that. I have literally 4 things within arm's reach made by her. She's really cool, really nice. Anyway, I will quickly say, not quickly, I'm going to give you time to do the enter the giveaway. Everyone, it's open to everyone, by the way. Once again, thank you so much to everybody who participated today. GMs, players, people who donated, people who boosted on Twitter and all other social media. This was a really, really, really awesome day, and we raised now $864.20 for GLSEN. I am blanking out. I'm so tired, but like I'm exactly happy. Go take it away, Pablo. Be
Can
my
I banter? I'm going to banter a little bit. One of the things that I was thinking about when I made this ice cream town was that my friend told me a story about when he was on vacation in Chile and he got an opportunity to visit a place that allegedly had a really great camping site. All he had to do was drive past the murder town where they put all the murderers during the Pinochet regime. And this town's designated feature was that right before that particular bad government, they had built a theater in the middle of the town, and it was like the big fancy thing. And then the town was just sort of forgotten or whatever. And they loved adventure and just went into this town as a foreigner and explored the dilapidated theater that was collapsing into the ground. collapsing into the
Sounds like
ocean.
my type of night.
And it was such a poignant image, and I love that stupid story. And I was just like, it would be great to have this like town that is really entrenched into like the fisher culture and the whole, where like we're leaning into that particular theme, but there's just this thing that has been constructed that is of a different culture right in the middle. And so I wanted to give us a chance to play with that and have that like interplay with the dynamic in there.
Thank you, Pablo. Gonal had a good point. You can find me on Twitter, Archmage Dice, where I scream about everything. I play tomorrow, and just check out my Twitter for all the TTRPG streams I'm in. In the meantime, we are going to go over and raid Allie Mack, who's currently playing Dragon Age Inquisition, is raising money for the Trans Legal Defense and Education Fund as part of Team SideQuest for their Pride Month charity stream. So she's playing till 2 a.m. because she did an extend the stream-a-thon. So she's up for like another 2.5 hours. Everybody go say hi, put some love in chat, and thank you so much again, and have a lovely start of your week tomorrow. Bye.